Wait. I see logo. I
And
see
now we're in the
trees of
game.
green.
Yay.
And we are starting season 3 off with technological leprosy. It's awesome.
It's not really leprosy.
It's my own leprosy. It is. Anyway, but welcome to the season 3 premiere of Team X. I am very, very truly excited to be able to play D&D with my friends again. I've spent actually the last month putting together an adventure that I am sure they are going to dismantle and derail within the first 7 minutes of us playing.
We'll do our best.
Well, I hope so.
Oh, I give it at least. I only give it 2 minutes, not 7.
So you're taking the under.
Too generous.
Taking the under. Okay. So I am Brian Wiggins. I am your dungeon master for this evening. We have some announcements to get to, but first we are going to introduce tonight's dramatis personae, our cast, and we will start as we usually do in quadrant 4, which is now just an empty chair, and now is not an empty chair.
Wait, I think I goofed up quadrant.
Quadrant 4 is...
That's quadrant 1.
Wait,
no,
now
quadrant...
Yeah. No, I think I goofed up 2 and 3.
Wait, I'm in quadrant 4 now. Aren't I?
Yeah,
Are
what?
you
No.
going clockwise?
Quadrant 1, according to Cartesian coordinates,
Is where I'm at.
is where you are. So we're starting in quadrant 4, like we always do.
No, you
Okay.
you used to be in quadrant 2. I goofed when I put the overlay together. I'm sorry.
Everyone's where they're
I'm
supposed to be.
confused.
Very
No,
Just how about this?
Clues.
Say who you would like to go,
Yeah,
and then we will do it that way
yeah. It's very confusing.
because it's really
Clues. Please introduce yourself. And then we will proceed in a clockwise direction.
Who's playing my gem waiver? Level 9? 9. Wait,
9.
where's my sheet? There it is. Level 9. Right. I did. Fuck, it says 8. I level... Momentarily will be 9. Level 9, almost. Tinker Norm Extraordinaire. We'll continue on so I can re-up my sheet that I didn't save.
And moving along.
is that me?
No, it is not you. It is to the
Okay.
person in the
We're
clockwise
going
direction.
clockwise. Oh, hi, it's me. I'm Viking Goat. I play Cynic General Trunk. I'm very, actually, more or less am him, seeing as how absent-minded I am and rambly I am. Nature Domain Cleric. Hi.
You done?
Yes.
Okay. I am playing Hugon Valander, level 9 Battlemaster Fighter. Everything just goes up by 1 for me. There's nothing really special going on here. I just get +1 more better at unpersoning things.
Unpersoning things.
Depersoned.
They've been depersoned.
It's not that they're dead. They're just been made unalive.
Well, it's not that they're dead. It's just that they've transitioned existences.
Because you can't kill energy, right? And last, but by no means least.
I'm Roz, and I'm playing Eno, Tiefling Bard, and that's it.
Yes. Oh, but it's so much more than that. Well, more importantly, I spelled his name right in the credits for this season. So
Thank
awesome.
you.
We're already starting off in the right direction. So some announcements before we get into today's game.
I just want to retcon. I did, but apparently I have double saved my goddamn character, so I in fact did level up. I just...
We're dealing with there's the one reality where she did not level up, and the one reality where she did. We're talking about the multiverse here. So some quick announcements. First announcement: we have a Team X wiki. You can get it at teamx.fandom.com. There are some things in there now. If you have things you would like to add, feel free to add because it's a wiki and that's how this works. But yeah, in this way we could start keeping a repository of all things you wanted to know about Team X but were afraid to ask, or perhaps your dungeon master forgot. This might be where we start keeping some of the NPC names. I don't know. But one of the big changes for Season 3 is you will see that all the players beneath their little windows here have a number. And this is the number of charges that they have. And we had charges last season, but we're playing them a little bit differently this season. So, and we have instructions here too. So, if the player wishes to use one charge, they can grant themselves use of one of their minor powers, which we developed in our very brief off-season. And we'll get more into that. It's, custom to each character. If they want to use 2 charges, they can grant themselves or another player advantage on a roll. If they want to use 3 charges, they can grant me disadvantage, the Dungeon Master. And if they want to use 4 charges, they can then use their ultimate, which we'll see if there's opportunities to do that as well. Now, every time they use one of their charges, though, as before, I get a charge, and I'm also starting with 4 charges. But I start with 0 charges. I'm sorry. Let me fix that. I'm going to fix that. So I have 0 charges. Every time they use a charge, I get one of my Dark Inspiration charges. And then as the bit meter fills up there, if anyone wants to throw some bits in there, that'll eventually make me start using my charges at different thresholds. And then when I use them, players start getting recharged back and forth. And then eventually bad things happen. Or good things. It could go either way. If you also become the new stream boss, you too can recharge the players without granting me Dark Inspiration. So there's some all fun things there. Any questions from the class? No? Okay, good. Shall we play some Dungeons and Dragons then?
I thought we just did.
I feel
Are we
like
done?
it's been forever.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye. No.
Goodbye.
Great game. We're back in tabletop. Just a couple minutes. Table talk. Just a couple minutes. Okay. So when we last left Team Xenagogue, they had made great progress. Some might argue, others might argue there's been no progress made at all in our entire time playing. But hey, listen, that's just the way it goes. No, so they had decided to take on some additional contracts that would take them outside of Pinedale, and had gotten into Elboulder, and some shenanigans ensued. There, and during the course of that, they came upon Thunuk's sister, and Thunuk learned that his family had not just left him alone in the wilderness to fend for himself, that they had actually been taken, it seemed, by stone giants. And the team has decided that it could be quite profitable, as well as helping a friend, but also quite profitable. Contracts were signed to go to the stone giant stronghold in the Merthwatch Mountains, which are on the northern end of the Chondalwood, and try to rescue Thunuk's family. And they shadow gated there, and the scene that they exited the shadow gate, and we're gonna so the team here, when they exit the shadow gate, they were met with it looked like all of the trees had been leveled in one fell event. Visually, if you've ever seen pictures of the Tunguska event, where it's just almost radiating from a single point, all of these trees have just been laid low, and there's no like scorch marks or anything like that, so it's not like something it's not like something incendiary exploded or anything like that, but something very clearly happened, and it seems like the epicenter might be somewhere near the base of the mountain range. And it is quiet. It is deathly quiet there. There are no birds chirping. There are no there's not the sounds of the usual woodland creatures. There's a silence there that even if you're not privy to nature the way that Thunuk Gentletrunk, our friend-shaped capybara boy, might be, there's always a general silence. Generally will make you is a disturbing thing. Pure silence. And that's kind of where you guys find yourself in this moment, where it is eerily quiet in this area. And so behind you have this you have the shadow gate as it snaps closed. As you all emerge out of the gate, you see the Merthwatch in front of you in the distance. You have and these trees blasted. And if you were to turn around and look behind you, you could see it's probably like another mile before like the Chondalwood picks up again, the Chondalwood proper. That's about how far, and you'd figure you're maybe a few hours walk. Not a few hours, maybe an hour's walk to where the stone giants' stronghold is thought to be, from what Kyat's description was of where it was. So this is kind of where you find yourself, in this eerily quiet, blasted landscape.
I'm going to cast Pass Without Trace
Okay.
on us. That lasts for an hour. And if you don't want to do a stealth, that's fine, but it means that we can't be tracked except by magical means.
Okay.
But if you do want to stealth through here, you have a +10 bonus to stealth checks.
Oh, fun.
That's very handy.
We can do a
Sonic
snack.
is not stealthy at all.
You could do a snack.
So yeah, I'm gonna cast that. So you see, like immediately after going through and kind of looking, he kind of plays this sort of quiet song, and says, "If you want to be quiet about it, we can. We can be even more quiet about it now."
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Were we do
No idea
I
what that
like
is.
get a sense of if I look around, does it feel like I'm in a dangerous area? I'm just kind of like,
That
Cool.
would that be perception? That'd be perception or
We're gonna ask for
insight.
dice
I think
roll.
that'd be insight. I think
Okay.
perception I see is like, are you seeing? But you're taking more like that. You're looking more inward. Do I
I-
sense?
Isn't insight more like I'm trying to figure out what you're up to?
What is my insight? Okay.
Insight
Could be-
is like
It's interpersonal.
insight is interpersonal, but it can be used to pick up on things that aren't necessarily dealing with you. Like you don't have to interact with the thing that you're trying to insight.
Mm-hmm. Like
Can-
perceive. Perceive. I
Two
think is
individuals or two entities can be interacting, and you can try to insight them, particularly if there's like a language barrier.
I think it would be so if you were looking, if I can see, hear, smell, taste danger, that would be perception. But if I'm trying to sense danger, if I'm getting a feel for that, I'm seeing that as insight, because now you're doing more. It's more interpretive. That's how I'm interpreting it. As dungeon. Master.
Regardless, it was a 17.
Either way, so what kind of danger are you trying to perceive? I guess is what.
Well, because we just kind of arrived to this new area, so I'm just
Mhm.
like, and he's doing the Pass Without a Trace, so I'm like, well, do I feel like I'm going to be in danger? Should I try and be on edge? Do I get a sense that something's going to jump out of that non-existent bush over there and kill me? Or am I just like, new environment, maybe it doesn't look friendly, but, books can be deceiving.
Yeah, so you know this isn't right. I mean, it doesn't even take a perception roll, right, to know that this is not normal, right? You're not sensing
I don't know
any.
if Dren can actually sense the normalness in things, so that's why
Well,
I asked.
I mean, there's like you've seen trees knocked over before. You've seen when things get knocked over, and you also here we go. Dren knows what happens when you blow things up. Let's put this.
yeah.
Let's put this in terms
Yeah,
that Dren
for sure.
understands. Dren,
Yeah.
you understand that things blow up. You are recognizing that this was an explosion of some kind, but not some kind that you've seen before, because it's like, there's no fire, there's no singeing, there's no, even when you've used your blasting laser things, there's evidence of, cauterization or things. But as far as like immediate danger, no, you're not sensing any kind of immediate danger, but there's definitely I mean, you have your wits about you. You're not like, oh, hey, normal day at the beach, ah, la, 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 you know.
What is the terrain
Check
like?
that box. Wits had.
What is the terrain like out, like further out? Is this flat land or what does it look like?
So this is relatively flat.
So I can't see like a volcano off in the distance that might have been,
No. You don't
boomed.
say. So
Okay.
you see the Mirthwatch rising in front of you, which the Mirthwatch is a much smaller mountain range than the Fire Steep. It is definitely not like the Sword Mountains. It's a relatively small mountain range, just kind of jutting up in front of you, and you can see that. But usually, you shouldn't be able to see that because the forest comes right up to the edge of the mountains. So
I want to arcana. I want to like pick up a bit of the ground and like arcana it. Because if I can't see a source, I want to see if I can feel like this is magical bullshit.
Okay.
I got to up my arcana. That's hold on, math. 22.
A 22. So describe to me what Dren would do.
I'm gonna kind of
sense the dirt.
Because we portaled here, right?
Yes.
So it's almost gonna be like she's low to the ground and she's used to dirt and grime and stuff, and this looks weird. So it's gonna be kind of pick up like a hand of dirt, like look around. I don't see a volcano. I don't see a fissure in the ground or anything that would possibly cause an explosion. I'm gonna pick up like a handful of dirt and do like num, lick it a little bit, and then like
roll a Constitution save.
I mean, I will.
Congratulations, you've licked something radioactive.
Neutron
and then,
bomb.
Like, like start trying to sense if there was anything, because magic leaves remnants. So I'm trying to sense. I'm trying to get basically the ground to tell me what the fuck happened to you.
So you scoop up some of this dirt, and
if there's a tree near me too, I'll kind of like put my hand on a tree. It's just trying to get like a sense, like tell me your secret.
Reveal unto me.
Reveal to me your secrets.
So it feels if you've ever been on a beach, like after a rainstorm, but it's really hot and it dries very quickly, and the sand kind of gets like that crinkly, crunchy feeling.
Oh, yeah.
But only like the top layer.
It looks like dry skin.
Yeah, but it's only like the very surface, and then as soon as you step, you can feel it, and you're down in like the normal sand. That's what that feels like as you're picking it up.
Okay, so there's definitely like a crispy layer.
Yeah, and whether that's from dampness or whatever, but it's just you are picking up. There is something of the weave had touched this. This was obviously done by some force of magic, but when you start kind of running the equations in your head between how much magic you're sensing right now, like whatever remnants, whatever residue is left over here, versus the amount of magic, the amperage of that magic required to create a blast zone like this, you're putting the half-life at several at decades ago.
You say blast. How big is this blast zone? Is this like Hiroshima levels of blast zone, or is this more like focus to funnel? How big are we talking?
As best as you can see, it looks to be between a 2 and 3 mile radius.
Okay, so this is circular around. This isn't like
Yeah,
focus in a
and it looks like the radius when you're looking at the geometry
this is
of
some Fern Gully shit.
when you're looking
Texas
at
got
the
out.
when the geometry of the trees, because from where how everything's blown down, and you can see there's even like plants that are like plastered to the ground, but they're almost like not mystically frozen there, but it's almost like they were where they're not. They're everything's brown, and because it's been dead for some time.
Yeah.
But when you look at when you're looking at the geometry is based somewhere near the base of the Mirth Watch. And then from that radius, about 2 to 3 miles estimated, kind of sweeping around where there's the Chondalwood just does not grow. And it's almost, you would think that if you were to actually like get like an aerial view of this, that you could actually see, you think it would be pretty geometrically good.
Speaking of which, I want to cast polymorph on myself, and I'm gonna turn into a burb. Actually, no, I don't want to do that. I have Razi for these. I want to send Razi up, and I want him to locate like the epicenter. So if this came from somewhere, I want him to follow the trees. I want to find the epicenter.
Okay. So Razi, you give your little instructions to Razi, and he flies away. So while he's doing some aerial recon, let's take a look. Let's check in with the other players. Let's see what everyone else is doing here.
Hugon immediately perceives this as some form of war magic, like on a grand scale. Like this is the kind of thing that an archmage would drop on an army. At least that's his perception of it. So he wants to see if he can, via means that are probably not entirely his own, figure out, like, not necessarily what the cause of it was, but what the intent of it was.
Okay.
What was the purpose of this?
Okay.
Is this a battlefield? Is this an act of retribution? Is it an act of terror? What's going on here is what he wants to determine.
Okay.
And I would like to do some obviator stuff.
Okay.
So like take samples of the dirt, the trees, the bark, basically everything that Drin is doing, but like away from Drin because I hate her.
But if he picks up dirt, I'll be like, lick it.
Lick the
you
dirt.
get a better sense of what's going on.
Put your face and on the
Use
ground.
all of your senses.
Just face plant into the ground. Breathe it.
Rub it on your body. Appreciate it.
I imagine Fanuk sees this and is like, that's a good idea. Wah!
Just rolling around.
Bathe in it like a chinchilla.
It's like, finally, they're getting the idea.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, doom dirt. Yeah.
Okay, so...
Yeah.
Okay, well, here's the question I have for you. The obviator here, when I'm looking at what you have at your disposal, you have the Read the Opposition ability, and you have the Alchemist's Insight ability. You also have the obviator's lenses.
I mean, probably be using the lenses.
I
don't really remember what those do. I don't have my book in front of me.
Fortunately, I do. When you look through the obviator's lenses, you use a bonus action, which really isn't going to matter right now, to make them function as eyes of minute seeing or eyes of the eagle.
Wow.
Once you make this choice, it cannot.
Awesome.
But once you make this choice, it cannot be changed until the next dawn.
Yeah.
So but then your Alchemist Insight, which is a rank 2 thing, you can use an action to use your alchemist supplies to identify any unknown substance, including alchemical items, potions, and other magical substances. Once you use this feature, you cannot use it again until you finish a long rest. And then there's Reading the Opposition, which is you trying to read one creature you can see, trying to learn information about that creature.
Okay, so definitely be using the goggles, and I don't know if... I think getting a full scope of the area would be better than the microscopic vision. So he'll probably be using the binocular version.
Okay.
Just to take a surveil, and then he'll probably do that alchemy thing that you said, because that sounds cool.
Now, is Eyes of the Eagle a spell? Is that?
I think it's an item.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, one of the items that made it over from the old editions.
Ah.
It's like, it used to be like a +5 perception check or spot check or something like that.
I think that in that case we can, I mean, you can, I'd say, add a proficiency bonus to perception, and then with advantage wearing the obviator glasses in this case.
Okay, so first the obviator glasses.
Okay.
That's what we're going to roll. And I'm going to roll perception.
Perception.
That's a terrible roll. So advantage.
Did you vacuum your chair? Because maybe that would have helped. No, don't worry about it.
Why would I vacuum my chair? I don't understand.
Don't worry about it. We'll talk about
Vacuums are for floors. It's much better. Let's see. Oh, that's not the button I wanted to hit. Fuck. All right, that's an 18.
An 18. And so what? So describe to me what it is. What information you are trying to perceive. What do your not elf eyes see?
My not elf eyes are looking for the epicenter of the blast.
Mm-hmm.
If the blast is circular indeed, or if it's hemispherical, where it's like half of a circle or like half of a sphere has like happened and not affected the other half. Like if this happened at the base of the mountains, did the explosion and energies go up the mountain along with the rest that went out from the mountain?
Okay.
Was this a sort of wave that pushed outward, or was it just something that like, literally just expanded in a growing sphere of annihilation?
Okay. All right. So how are we going to parse this? So as you're, well, let's do this. Because they're calling it a monocle, but I can't imagine Hugon just putting a monocle in. Is it more like one of those jewelers? What are they?
Yeah,
called?
it's one of those like expanding, steampunky.
Right. And is it now? Here's the thing: does it clip on so it can go hands free, or is this like a I gotta?
No,
it's
like a hood thing. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So. You, as far as the epicenter, you're picking up the same information that Dren has. That it is definitely somewhere right at the base of the right at the base of the Marith Watch. But as you're looking up, so you're trying. I guess you're trying to. So you're almost doing like a fire inspector here, where you're
Basically,
trying to see.
I'm making an assessment.
Looking at the burn pattern. Where was the source and where did it go from there?
Exactly.
Okay. So, whatever this force was, it looks like the vast majority of it was blasted out, which is what caused this thing. But there's also, you can see, there's a finite end to it. So, I guess the way that you would describe this is kind of like an Akira event.
Okay.
Of some
sense.
kind of magical. Now, for those who might not be familiar, because I'm seeing a puzzled look from one Thonic Gentle Trunk.
Yvonne, he's talking about you.
Yvonne, I'm talking about Yvonne.
Have you seen Akira?
I've seen it and read it. Yeah.
Okay,
so
his explanation is not required.
Well, for maybe someone who might be watching him and understand.
I'm kidding.
Yeah. It basically starts we'll say it starts the film of this silent explosion that comes out like in a perfect, almost sphere, that just stops at a certain point, and that's where you could sort of see this damage, and it was from the Akira event. And I don't want to go beyond that for anyone who has not seen.
Spoilers.
I don't know if anyone's alive who has not seen it, but anyway. But at any rate, but yeah, so it definitely stopped at a certain point, and you can look. It looks like there might have been something that might have. There's a ring at a certain point, and it's difficult to see because now we're getting almost 3-4 miles away. Okay, and the obviator lenses can only look so far.
They're not like super binoculars.
Yeah, you don't have the Hubble strapped on.
They're not like
face.
the stupid ass mil-spec like thermographic like I can see space kind of goggles here.
So yeah, we got ones like these, right? But you can see there's almost like a line of demarcation, like when you move a painting that has been on a wall for some time.
Okay.
Where it might have scoured. It doesn't look like there's any damage because it's a mountain. As far as if there's any plant life that was destroyed, you can't tell.
But like sort of bleached almost.
It's slight.
Okay.
It's slight. But yeah, and you can kind of get an idea that it looks that it was actually spherical, that it looks like it travels up about as far as the same distance as you're seeing the edge of the Chondalwood. So that is the information that you are able to glean from that.
So this is curious. Is there a crater?
There is no crater that you can see.
Okay, so this affected out, up, in all directions, but not down.
Yes. If we're thinking of a three-dimensional plane, it didn't go below that. It didn't go below the Z-plane. It only
That's
affected.
curious.
It only affected positive. It only affected positive
Positive on the Y. Yeah,
Positive on the Y. Yes. We constantly come back to Cartesian coordinates in this game.
Well, I mean, if we're going to be 3D, positive on Z.
Well, and negative from wherever your 0 point is.
This is curious.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Obviously magical.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't... Hugon doesn't think that you would drop this on an army if you were within proximity to them. Like, you'd basically
give me a perception check.
Okay. Another one?
Just a normal one. Just a
Okay.
not this would be
No
no, this would
advantage,
be
no-
no. Do insight.
Insight.
Insight check, yes. We've already done the perception. Now we're gonna insight the perception.
I don't remember. Do aviators get stuff to insight? Do they get bonuses on insight? You know what? This is dumb.
It
Let me
sounds
get my...
like something they would do.
You think so? Well, while he's getting his book, let's see. Proficiency. You get a proficiency bonus and ability check to make an enemy's tactics, discern a hidden threat, or intimidate a foe whose weakness you have previously assessed. So nothing specific to insight.
But there is the
Just-
threat. And this could be considered a threat,
Discern.
whoever did this.
Discern a hidden threat. Yes, that would be
Or if it's still there and hidden.
yes. But that is not what we are looking for in this particular case, I will say.
I have no idea where my copy is, so we're just going to let you do it.
Well, like as I just read for the folks at home, no, there's no specific. So if you were trying to discern a hidden threat, intimidate a foe whose weaknesses you've already previously assessed, or doing an ability check to make a sense of an enemy's tactics, that was where you would get your proficiency. In this case, this would just be
So this is a
straight
16 in that
insight.
case.
Okay. There are no bodies. And
Okay.
that is what speaks to you in your sense. You're saying, oh, I've seen armies and war mages, drop this kind of thing, but usually they drop it on an army, right?
And there's no indication of...
There's no indication of an army having
Okay.
been here. Now, again, you're only able to see so far, but you would think for an effect this large, based on, this is not like, oh, here's two guys here, let me drop the nuke.
Like, so the it's not a perfect, like, everything in this spherical emanation was annihilated. Like, things are burnt, knocked down. You said there were plants.
No burn. There's no burn marks, no scorch marks. It's just, it looks like, it almost looks as if an enormously powerful gust of wind had come by.
Oh, so okay, the ground is still there.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
the trees are knocked down. The grass is still there.
Yeah, but everything's sort of like, it's as if
It's just pushed flat and brown.
pushed flat. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Curious, and also a problem.
So, but that is what you perceive
Okay.
of this situation. How about and everyone's still passed without trace. Now, question for you on that, is that a proximity thing? Do they have to maintain proximity to you?
Okay, so it says for the duration, each creature I choose within 30 feet has a +10 bonus to dexterity. Can't be tracked except by magical means. Creature that receives this bonus leaves behind no tracks or other traces. So, yeah, it looks like within 30 feet of me. It's a veil of
Alright.
silence and shadow radiating from me, with a 30,
30
feet
feet
radius.
of you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so yeah, as long as you're concentrating on it. Okay, so yeah, they would have to
Yeah.
stay near you.
Sorry, didn't mean to make that.
That's good.
I was like, is that am I hearing stuff? So, are there any other perceptions, any other things that people would like to do?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Thunuk,
This is why we're here.
I actually double checked this because I don't want to goof with this.
Mm-hmm.
I do have detect magic prepared for today.
Oh.
So Thunuk is going to detect magic.
Okay.
He will basically grasp his medallion of the four and look around, and it's less a prayer and more like, what in the name of the four happened here? Did we do this?
Blasphemer.
As he's not seeing like the center thing that Drenmai and Hugon is. He's just like, we came out and the forest is gone. Is this our fault?
Yeah, it's not only is it gone, it's got like the whole like, oh look, the fell beast died here and nothing green shall ever grow again kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and well, you got to face. I mean, Thunuk probably didn't really learn math. He learned a different kind of math, probably, not geometry.
Some, and a lot.
Like Drenmai knows math and geometry because physics, right? She needs to build things and how things work and go together.
Right, she's an engineer.
Yeah, exactly. Hugon knows the math of like trajectories, like how high of an angle you need on that longbow, or hey, we're out of range of those catapults because, or no, we're not. You know, it's
Back up. Or go forward.
Eno knows the math of music, of how and like interpersonal math, and things like that, and vectors of nodes of people. But let's see. So detect magic. You sense the presence of magic. You sense this way. And so, what is it that you are trying to learn?
Effectively, what caused this?
Okay.
Because it doesn't look natural at all, and why is this not doing this? No.
Well, okay, so the way that this spell works is it doesn't tell you like anything about the magic, it just tells you that it exists. So what we could do, if you would like to continue on this, or we could say that Thunuk knows that that's not what this is, and if he wants to go a different way with it, that's fine too. If you wanted to continue with this, it could be that you cast the spell, you're obviously going to detect something here, but then I would give you advantage on some kind of perception roll or insight roll to figure out maybe a little bit more about that.
Well, I mean, if is magic like radiation by any chance? Like once it's been blasted off, would there be like some sense of it still there?
I mean, he used the word Half-Life.
Magic.
I mean, there's to use a Shadowrun term, background count.
Yeah. Magic generally leaves traces. If it doesn't, then it's a little disconcerting.
So, in this sense, if the way it says like a sense of you sense the presence of magic within 30 feet of you. We're in the blast zone, so to speak.
Yes.
And I would see a faint aura around any object or creature, so trees on the ground or objects, and I can figure out if something is inherently magical or if whatever magic's been used is what school it is based on the color or something, or some other telltale signature like olfactory.
But that's that's a specific one, right? Where you determine the school of magic, right? Isn't that a specific?
There is a specific spell that tells you about the school of magic.
It says, and you learn its school of magic, if any.
Well, there you go.
So you mean this spell, the one that you want to do, is exactly what you wanted to do? Oh, well, why didn't you just say magic. So? Oh, that's what happens. Okay, well, that's what happens when you don't read everything. Yeah, I majored in English. So Okay, so you cast the spell, and so, you feel your initial sensation you get is almost a slight prickly sensation that that Yvonne, the player, would interpret as almost like light static, like very light static touches on the skin. Kind of like sharp, but not like sharp, like painful. Sharp, just like, oh, there's,
It's like coming in contact or hovering your hand over a plasma globe. It's like you feel that slight static, but you're not getting the zap out of it.
Yeah, and it's not, you're not picking up on, it's not pleasant, but it's not like, oh, run away or I'm in pain or anything like that. But you are picking up. It's in my head, I'm seeing. It's almost like you're seeing like it almost feels like particles of tiny, minuscule, atomized particles of black and white that are just like, kind of like, it feels like they're almost moving through you.
Neutrons.
Radiation.
In a way,
Make a con save.
You're gonna get
Congratulations.
You'll have cancer within the
Your
year.
DNA is breaking down and mutating.
I'm trying to remember. What are the schools of magic here? Why can't
We
I
all
remember?
start
Conjuration,
vomiting blood.
abjuration, evocation,
Bleh.
illusion, necromancy, transmutation.
No, I'm gonna need. Hang on. I
There's one
need
more. I
to.
think there's universal.
I need to
Universal.
slow down on that because I need to actually. I need to see what the interpretation of that is because I want to make sure. This is my
Necromancy.
weakest point.
Yeah,
I
I
said
call
necromancy.
necromancy.
It is not necromancy. It is
It's
definitely
probably
not.
evocation.
We're all gonna die.
If it's
Um,
conjuration, that's deeply concerning.
I'm looking for.
Divination.
Where is
That's
it?
the other
Oh,
one.
here it
There's
goes.
8
No-
schools.
Oh, here we go. Okay, abjuration.
Divination I can handle.
No, not that. Conjuration.
Okay, well we're fucked.
It's a
But
problem.
it feels.
That's a problem.
But it feels old.
Oh, like not
That's
recent
not.
at
That's
all.
not reassuring.
It feels. So this is not fresh magic. This is not magic that's been recently cast. This is magic that. It's the residue. It is the residue. It is the film. It is that this happened at one point, and this is what's left over. But yeah, that's.
So based on like mushrooms growing, if any, and the rotting of the plants, how long does it look like it's been?
No plants, no mushrooms, nothing growing.
Well, nothing growing, but the plants,
But-
those trees that were knocked over would rot, wouldn't they?
They are
Or
not
are they
rotting.
in pristine condition? Oh, okay.
Like I mean, the
So-
leaves have dried because there's
Yes.
no water getting to them, but
Mhm.
they're not. Yeah, there's no rot. They're not petrified. They just are.
So whatever did this was so powerful that it affected the microbial level of life.
But based on that, I will allow you a nature check at disadvantage to try to determine when this happened, if you would like
Okay.
to, because of the fact that your usual telltales of fungus, moss, bugs.
I would also like to assist in his, because I would be very curious about when.
And
this
you already,
happened.
you already licked the dirt, so it's you could
I
probably-
licked it. I am one with the fucked up particles. A 15.
So what does that do?
I rolled a 12 and an 18, and I meant so 16.
Oh wait, disadvantage?
No, he had disadvantage. Well, you're just assisting
Oh.
him, right?
Oh yeah, I'm just assisting. So 15.
Oh well, then that would no. If you're assisting, then that means that would give him
Negate?
advantage, so that would negate the disadvantage.
Oh, well, I rolled 2 of them anyway.
Well, you did. So no. So we'll take the 18.
Okay.
We'll take the
18.
18. So
So
first of all,
22.
what would that look like with Drenmai helping the Thunuk?
I picture he's like really focused on stuff, and I was really into this dirt and trees and stuff. So I'd kind of be like, I'd be telling him what I gleaned from my in-depth investigation to help with what he's looking for.
I think actually he's pawing at the dirt, like trying to figure out where the worms and the microbes are and everything, and he sees you eating the dirt.
Yeah.
And he tastes the dirt too, and he's basically.
Oh yeah, we're basically like two nerds all up in this dirt.
Yeah, we're he's mimicking you, you're mimicking him. We're each basically like coming up with ideas that the other one forgot to check.
Yeah, exactly. We're bouncing ideas off of each other. This is collab at its finest in dirt etymology.
Dirtomology.
Dirtomology.
It's not a word.
It is now.
Not a word.
It is now.
And this is the game that we play.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So, yeah, so you've determined magic residue, you've determined conjuration. Through your dirtomancy, you have determined that it's this. You're coming to the same conclusion because no one's vocalized any of this yet. Everyone's just sort of, I'm imagining a scene very much akin to Battlestar Galactica when they first arrived. I'm going to spoil things now. If you haven't seen it, I'm sorry, it's been too long.
I haven't seen it.
It's been almost 20 years.
When they landed on, well, it's been 15. When they landed on Earth the first time, and they find the blasted wasteland, and it's just sort of everyone just quiet, like, what the hell happened here? Okay, we're good. Yeah. But that's sort of the react. I'm thinking everyone's just kind of like in shock of like, what? So so no one's really talking to each other, but you're coming to the same conclusion. This happened possibly several decades ago, and you would actually put it close to the time where you think where your family might have gone, when you thought your family had left you.
Mm-hmm.
That this might be circa similar time frame. I mean, you can't pinpoint it to a day or a month, but you're saying this. You could kind of tell this has been. It's been a minute since this happened.
Decades.
Yeah. So you're kind of able to put all of that together, and I will say, okay, so Dren and Thunuk, both of you give me a perception check.
What's my perception? Okay. Let's see. Can you hear this die when I roll it way back here? This is heavy AF.
Yes, and it's such a satisfying noise.
We're not going to use that one again. What would I have gotten in a different one? I blocked on that one, son of a bitch. Okay, so 6.
Wait, what? This is perception, you said?
Perception, yes.
All right, good. 20 even.
20 even. Dirty 20?
Dirty.
Dirty 20. So Dren, it's for you. This is dirt. It's just a thing. You did it. You ate the dirt. Not the first time.
It's good dirt.
Probably not the last.
Quality dirt.
Thunuk, this reminds you ever so slightly of the food. It reminds you of when you and Dren had a bite to eat in the Shadowfell. You remember going to the diner. You remember the roadside food stand. You remember some awful indigestion and very bad dreams after consuming all of this food. But you guys were eating mostly things made of mushrooms. Mushrooms grow in dirt. And you're saying this is not the usual Chondalwood dirt that you have eaten before. Because I also have to think this is not the first time, nor will it be the last time that Thunuk has ever eaten dirt.
It's a key ingredient in some stuff.
In some things. And listen, just sometimes you don't necessarily wash your hands right away.
Sometimes dirt is the foundation of a healthy meal. It
is. Listen, it's a curative for some situations, depending where you get the dirt out of the Chondalwood. There's times where, as a kid, hey, this is the good dirt. Be
aware of the
bad
charlatan dirt sellers. Don't.
Exactly. Well, you don't ever want to go off brand. You can't go to someone
really
you don't
need to
know.
be careful and do your market research about the dirt selling.
Absolutely. But because of that, there's a certain terroir how do you say that? With wine.
Terroir?
Terroir.
Um,
Terroir.
and you're picking up on that this dirt, this tastes akin, similar, adjacent to some of the mushroom dishes that you had when you were in there. So you think that maybe there's, it's a little shadowy. Hints of shadow, and possibly fresh cut rubber hose, but mostly,
Shadow. Dirt. Shadowy dirt.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, I don't think we have to worry about anything like this happening soon. This doesn't seem very new, but do you remember that place we went to that was with the creepy doll wasp things?
Yeah.
The dirt kind of tastes like that place.
So don't eat it.
Well, that would normally be a good solution, but dirt's supposed to taste like the place it's at, and it doesn't.
Okay. That doesn't make any sense to me, but I'll take your word for it.
I
That's
think something
incredibly profound.
big and bad from there came here, and that's what made this. I don't know if it's still here or not. So, yeah.
That's not encouraging.
I'm sorry, I wasn't aware. I should have probably phrased that differently.
I'm not looking for encouragement right
oh,
now, so
okay.
it's fine. But I don't like it that the Shadowfell keeps following us around.
I think it was here first. I'm not sure that it actually followed us here. I mean, if anything, we probably followed it.
Never mind.
It probably. Okay.
Don't I just.
Then turns to his sister. So, where are we supposed to go? Do you remember this at all?
And she says, she's for the most part, she speaks almost exclusively in Giant at this point. She seems to like she understands Common, but it seems like her most comfortable way, for whatever reason,
Is Giant.
Is Giant. And she says, I do remember walking through this when I left. It was not like this when we got here, but there was one day a very loud noise outside, and she says, our keepers were very upset over something, but we were told we were never allowed to talk about it.
Oh, that's real helpful.
I'm
sorry, I didn't say that in character. I don't speak Giant.
Well, it could be because she's speaking in Giant. And you're like, it's still contextually, it still works.
Contextually, it's still unhelpful.
I think I still have comprehend languages. I mean, did we?
It's only been a couple of minutes, since we took the shadow.
Yeah, we just teleported here, so.
Yeah.
So did we go right there? I think.
Yeah,
I probably understand her.
Yeah.
Alexi's with us still, right?
Alexi is with you. Yes.
Yeah. So I think Eno's been walking around, talking into the whisper jar. Buck is kind of following him around. He's got this tube. He's like, we're in the middle of this place, and he's kind of describing it. And he's like, and my friends are tasting the dust and the dirt, and I'm not sure.
I don't think that this is a good idea, but they're doing it.
Yeah, and so he's kind of doing a commentary on where they're at and stuff. And he goes, "Hey, Alexi, what are you making this? Is this? You didn't do this, right? This isn't you."
I do not believe I did this. I have never seen this before. This would be...
Never seen it before?
No, this is very strange. And that's saying something, because we've seen some strange things.
And I just want to do a history check to see if I've heard anybody talking about like a weird thing in the woods that they may have seen.
Oh, I like this. Okay, yes, go for that. Do a history
All
check,
right.
please.
History check. That's a unnatural 20. I rolled a 15.
An
Plus
unnatural 20.
5.
I have a mental image of this 20 with like far too many eyes.
Like, oh God! Slay it! Kill it! Kill it! Kill it!
No, I won't be.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah,
going to be an
Stitched
animation
together
right
from
there.
other 20s.
It's like a non-Euclidean 20.
Unnatural 20.
I am a mockery of God's creation.
I'm a mockery of 20s. Okay. So with that unnatural 20.
We need to
love
call
that.
it that from now on.
That is what an unnatural 20.
It's
I
no
like
longer a
it.
dirty 20.
I
In
like it.
season 3, it's an unnatural.
I like it.
Oh,
Okay.
Jesus.
Okay, so you start thinking of. So you remember one time, and you were hanging out in the yawning portal, as you were wont to do from time to time. Sometimes it was a good place to make a few coin. Sometimes because you just wanted a drink. Sometimes because you had a job to do. People to see. Things to hear and do. But you know, and it was always it was always a great place to catch a good yarn. Because you had the people who were always telling stories of what went down in the yawning portal, down in the dungeon. And you have like this fleeting memory that you hadn't thought about in years, and it was just some old timer, this old dwarf with thick hair, but silver, just like silver, almost white, and long braided beard, and the long hair braided back and tied back. Very portly old fellow. Eyes yellowed just from the amount of drinking this guy did to himself on a daily basis, and for a dwarf, that says something.
That's a lot.
He
It's
just
like
basically
bathing in it.
he spent his days pickling himself to the best as he could. But every now and again, he would tell a story. But you always kind of didn't lend a lot of credence to the stories because drunk old guy telling the story. Oh, he was always there. It was always whenever the story came out, like, oh, I remember when blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
But you seem to recall one time of him telling a story of an exodus of dwarves, of cousins of cousins. Not him. He wasn't there for it. But his cousins, uncles, third cousins, blah, 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 relation. And their clan had to engage in a very quick exodus because of, as he put it, it was dark dealings that day. And the sky lit up, and you could see it from everywhere. And he tells stories of like just this one day where it seemed like the sky in the distance there was maybe it was just a little bit brighter on the horizon. And most people just laughed him off because it's like, oh, nobody saw that, or no, it was just a trick of the light, or maybe it was just magic happens all the time, or any number of things. It was a swamp gas igniting. But the way that he described it, and you remember the story, is maybe he was telling the story of this, because the time seems to match up, of some great flash of light in the southeastern skies. And you do seem to remember, I mean, you're always hearing about dwarven exoduses, exodi? I don't know the word for that. But dwarves always having to be forced out of their homes or leave because internal politics most of the time, but or sometimes a more powerful band of Dwergar or um, orcs, goblins. You know, they're always trying to take from the dwarves, and but you seem to recall that there was a clan that might have been from the Chondalwood area at one point that scattered into the winds. And when you start thinking about all these different stories, you're like, maybe there's something that to all this. Maybe that old timer wasn't telling a lie. Maybe there was something that happened here.
So I say, snap, Alexi, the dwarf. And then like when I snap my fingers, there's like this puff of like sparks, like in front of Alexi's face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I didn't really mean to. I just like it. Just this sudden like burst of memory, like I just sort of inadvertently cast this prestidigitation, and so there's this,
and it's a quick surprise, like almost
Yeah.
as a reflex. It's like all the weaponry comes out of his arm. Sorry about that.
Listen,
Puts it all away.
the dwarf in the yawning portal. I remember, and he didn't say he was there that time. I remember thinking, that's weird. He didn't say he was there. Maybe this is true. And then I say, hey guys, there's this dwarf in the yawning portal, and then I start like recounting this tale of the Duergar and they were fleeing, and there was this. So I was like, maybe this is what happened here. Maybe. Probably not. And
and Alexi's like,
again.
What was his name?
Oh man, it was like
and you remember the name?
Started with
Yannick Vor.
Started with a Y. Yannick Vor.
Drenmai, do a history check. What do we get? Ooh, a bomb.
This one is a natural 20.
It is a
For
natural
real?
20.
That's an actual 20.
It's
Do the thing. We did the thing. Woohoo!
it's a true strain 20.
It is. It's a glorious rainbow 20. So 23 in total.
He says the name, and you are absolutely sure you've met a dwarf named Yannick Vor before.
Met him.
Okay.
Well, Drenmai is very old as well.
Yeah.
Inexplicably well connected.
I'd like to say I have like the selective memory. Like I know a lot of shit about certain things, and there's other things that get pushed to like the outside edges of the memory, and you just don't quite remember those as well.
Eno's eyes just widen. You know Yannick Vor?
Like, yes.
Probably.
Small
According
world.
to my 20, yes.
No, you remember Yannick Vor. He you've actually run into him a couple of times. Both you remember him being a bit of a wanderer. Bit of an eccentric. Had some like
Okay.
had
I
some
see
weird
where we would get along.
had some weird, religious views. Never really pushed him on anyone, but he was kind of like a new agey type guy, Like to walk around barefoot most of the time.
Can relate.
But you also remember getting into several bar fights. Not just, you guys ran into each other. You think maybe you ran into each other once, probably in Waterdeep when you made probably a visit there at some point. There might have been some other locales. You can't remember the exact details of everywhere because if you've been in a few bar fights too. But because things happen. But you also remember him being like wicked strong. Like he was a good guy to have in a bar fight. But that was a long time ago. You don't remember. You haven't seen him in many, many years. Many, many years.
Then what? I think I recognize him.
Do you think
does
you
he
would?
still look? Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, he wasn't a spring chicken the last time you saw him. Wasn't like. So you think you'd probably recognize
Okay.
him if you saw him, unless he's hardly
Okay.
disfigured. It happens.
I'll look at be like, well, what dealings did you have with him?
I mostly just listened. And a lot of people would just like when he would start to tell a story. Sometimes it was a little bit annoying because I'd be in the middle of playing a song, and then he would just go, "I remember one time," and I'd be like, "Oh shit," because people would stop listening to me, and I'm like, "That's okay, Yannick.
Fucking throwing off my groove, bro.
Please
Yep,
tell us your story." And
We're in the
you know,
vibe. Sounds
normally
like
it was cool, but I mean, just there'd be that moment where I'd be like, oh, I was just getting into the groove, and I would just be like, it's okay, it's Yannick, he's gonna tell a story, it might take a half an hour, I'll pick it up where I left off. And as soon as he was done, he would let me, he was like, and that's the story or whatever. I mean, he would do his little thing, and I would just start where I left off, and everything was cool. But man, he could just tell stories. And
They were always entertaining.
Yeah, and he told a story about this place.
Would I do I think that he would have do I remember if he recalled telling me like the same story or similar variant of?
You have not seen him in several decades.
Okay, so it would have not been, this would have been a more recent story of his.
Yeah, you think that last time you saw him, based on the math that you've done so far, you probably saw him prior to this happening.
Yeah, Eno would have seen him within the last 5 to 10 years at the most, because he's kind of young.
Okay.
Eno's a young buck too.
He's not that old.
Okay, then I wouldn't be able to help like verify his story. But do I have a remembrance of if his stories were more inflated bullshit or actually true? Like the fish was this big, the fish was this big, kind of thing.
They always sounded exaggerated. He was a very boisterous storyteller, and again, it was always he was good at it. It wasn't like, everyone has that friend when you tell the story and they just don't know how to tell the story, and it's like, okay, get to the end, please get to the end.
Tell me the point.
Yeah, Yannick knew how to weave a tale.
Okay.
And
So
paint
even,
the picture for it and have some, but
even if it sounded like it might be bullshit.
Yeah, so it was always entertaining, but it always sounded a little exaggerated, a little far-fetched, because it's like, dude, how could you have also been here? And, and I almost said he was in Skellige, but he wasn't in Skellige, because that's a whole other thing. No, he was like, but like, maybe he's down in Chult, or, that this time I went to, and this place called Ixalan or whatever, and it was always like these stories, and you're just like, oh, dude, really? Okay, yeah, sure. But knowing him as you did, it's like, but it could be true, because he knew a lot of people, and he'd seen some things, and he had wandered, and he was good in a fight, and he, so it was one of those things where it's like, and again, you've all had that friend where you're like, yeah. I don't think you're telling me the truth, but it's very possible that you are, because I wouldn't put it past you to have done that, or to be able to have done that.
I want to ask Eno if he remembers the story that he told him about this area.
Yeah, so when I did the whole thing with Alexi, mm-hmm. I ended up like explaining all the stuff that Brian described. So basically that the Duergar had been fleeing the area, or is Duergar, right? They'd been fleeing the area, or
not
cousins of his.
I know. So the Duergar, as Eno would know, are the are the
gray dwarves.
The gray dwarves that are not good.
Yeah, they
all.
suck.
They're. But there's times where the Duergar were always trying to take the holds of non-Duergar. dwarves.
Oh.
You're not sure
Okay.
exactly what the Exodus was, because when you heard the story, it was like, oh well, yeah, that's kind of a common thing. It's a common thread in dwarven stories that they all have these ancient holds that they no longer have anymore, and it's only a matter of time before the ones they do have aren't theirs anymore. And they have new ones, and it's sort of like a cyclical thing. So when I mentioned Dwargar, it's like you always hear those stories, but there was nothing specific he mentioned about the Exodus.
Oh, I see.
Just
Having
that,
to do with Duragar.
just that,
Right.
yeah, because this was an Exodus that happened to the cousin of a cousin of a cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there were cousins and cousins of Yannick, and they had to flee this place because of some kind of event where there was a flash in the sky, and apparently it caused this.
Do I have any sense of now, with a possible description of what it looked like, plus the knowledge I've gleaned, to be able to put together the puzzle of what I think might have occurred?
How much did I forget? Tell me how much Thunuk shared.
Well, we were bouncing things off back and forth.
Okay, so
We
so
were,
I guess
like, I was sharing my Arcana knowledge, and he was sharing his.
so. We're just
nature.
assuming at this point everyone has shared all of what they've gleaned.
That's fair. Yeah.
Okay.
that's fair.
Yeah.
All right. So okay, this would then be. Then we are gonna have to do a check with this. This would be
Okay.
a wisdom check. This would be a wisdom check, I think,
Fuck.
because you're.
Which you are not good at.
Well, actually, no. I'll let.
No.
But I think everyone
Bardic
should be able to-
inspiration.
Oh.
Oh, are we
Hey.
all rolling wisdom checks?
I would say everyone rolls a
Please?
wisdom check, because I mean, if you're all sharing the information, one of you might be able to glean a.
Because
Some nuggets.
Do we
Dren's
all get
wise.
advantage because we're helping each other?
No, you do not.
Dren gets bardic inspiration though. She gets to add a 1.
I need it.
Unnatural 20?
Yes! which, to be fair, is a 19. But if I get a D8,
1.
is a 26.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
What did everyone else have?
10.
10.
Thank God. I
I
was
rolled
really
a
nervous about that one.
I rolled a 4 minus 1,
Oh, jeez.
so it's a 3.
3. Okay.
So you and I are not wise.
No.
23.
There's a dearth.
23. Wow. Okay, so
I could not be more pleased with the 26 because I am not wise at all.
We're not.
the way I'm envisioning this is.
In fact, you are anti-wisdom.
I am. I'm -1.
So, you're probably just tied up with the stories now, because it's like, you get that memory train where it's like, I remember this, and you're thinking about and there were some good times at the Yawning Portal. Hugon, you're probably just like, you're thinking more like, you're kind of like, you're probably getting on alert right now, like heads on a swivel, right? It's like something happened here.
Fair.
But Thunuk and Drenmai, so
We're
with
really into this dirt.
well, listen,
Dirt.
tasting the dirt, this was probably the right play, right?
I've got a
Tasting that
jar
dirt
of dirt.
The best you can figure, based on all of the information gleaned, is at some point, several decades ago, there must have been some kind of conjuring magic. So you're guessing some kind of summoning spell, ritual, of the mechanics of that you don't know, because there's just too many ways for this to happen. But something was summoned from the Shadowfell. And whatever it was, the amount of power required, because knowing the exchange rate of magic, or the what is it, the law of preservation of magic dynamics,
Conservation of math.
conservation of the weave, in that, because of all that, the amount of power required to do this, to create this backlash, because this was the other side of it. Magic almost always has some kind of like reverse action, especially with this. Whatever summoned was powerful. It had to have been very powerful in order to create this kind of damage, to require the amount of power to go into it that would create this kind of explosion. But something deep in your guts tells you that something was released many, many moons ago. And whatever
Release
that
like
thing
a
is.
creature or release like power?
Well, if it was summoned, it was creature in a very broad term, in that this just wasn't, hey, we made this big explosion. This was done with a purpose. Whoever did this was trying to get someone or something into this plane of existence, and it was powerful. And on that note, we are going to take our break.
God damn it.
Keep your thoughts. Keep that thought. Hold it. Write it down so you don't forget. And we are going to be back in just a few minutes with the second half of the season 3 premiere of Team X. So everybody, chill, and we'll be back. everybody. We are back. Hello, Franz. We are back with the second half of the Season 3 premiere of Team X, which, as we know, stands for Team Xenagogue.
It's true.
And to recap what happened in the first half, nothing.
We tasted
No.
dirt.
No, dirt was eaten. No, dirt was eaten.
No, let me rephrase it.
Eat.
Not we, they.
Yeah, we ate dirt.
Dirt was eaten. An exploration of the space happened to determine what happened in this blast radius. And between all of the team members adding in their various little parts of the puzzle, they were able to surmise, or at least Thunic and Drenmai were able to surmise, I don't think they've shared this with the group yet, that something powerful apparently had been summoned from the Shadowfell into this plane of existence, which is why, judging by the amount of power that was required and then the backlash that caused this explosion, something big and powerful was summoned from the Shadowfell many decades ago. And Drenmai was about to have a revelation, or at least a question. There was something that she wanted to do.
I'm trying to think.
And now we're going to stare.
Oh
At
wow, it's out of
Drenmai.
focus.
Yeah. Or is that just Drenmai?
I could be blurry. This is a fact. Shit, what was it? No,
Well,
what
now
were we
she's
doing right before?
You guys had tasted dirt.
Mm-hmm.
You had done your, you had talked about Yannick Vor, about how you had known him and how
After that,
and then you guys said, you asked if you could put together all of the different pieces, if you had enough information now to try to figure out what had happened, and that's when we talked about.
that was okay. So I sent Rozzy up. I want
Yes.
to know if what he sees, if he goes up high enough, I want to talk to him and I want to ask him if he sees any kind of sigils or signals, like anything on the ground that shows me a circle was created to call in a demon or demonic or anything. If there is a teleportation circle or a conjuration circle, I want to see if he sees anything aerial, because we're so and if this was so big, it's going to be massive. So he's way up there. I want to see if there is a conjuration circle on the ground.
Is this where he has to return to you to get you this information? You're not in
No, I
constant
can
contact.
talk to him.
Like remotely?
Yes.
Ah,
Since when?
Because it's a familiar.
I'm kidding. It's always been that way.
Okay.
He tends to come back when she sends him into bullshit and
Yeah.
be like, why the fuck did you do that to her face?
A lot of it's generally me ignoring him if he's yelling at me, like psychic
Being an
wise.
awful master to a
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I'm almost imagining a Thundercat scenario where the goggles come down and it's like sight beyond sight, and it's they light up a little bit, and now you're seeing.
goggles.
Oh,
Well, she
well,
has her-
I've got my gog. I mean, I imagine.
Oh, I
if
thought it was like
wanted-
Lino doesn't wear goggles.
No.
if I do like if I want to see something, I imagine I would have like that in place of like sight beyond sight.
It's like those are the goggles that between the planes of like specific like crystal, there's like a little bit of
Yeah.
ether like in between, kind of
Yeah.
murky, swirly. Boom, comes on purple. It's all so it's. Do you remember? I think it's kind of you see them like as like discs. It's like a kid's thing, I guess. It's like discs, and it's like usually like colored sand and water. And as you turn it, it kind of like swirls a little bit, but it's always like a. Does anyone else know what I'm talking about, or is this like a Jersey Shore thing?
Colored sand and water.
So it's like,
but there's little panes that you flip over and it like makes the designs. Yeah.
yeah, and it looks, yeah. It's like it's usually like a thin. I usually see it like as a thin disc, and it has like, it looks like granules of something, but it's also a liquid medium because it flows, and as you move it, it'll like change its.
Yep.
And it's like different tones and colors, so that way it almost.
I don't know
I
what
think
that's
it's
called, but I know exactly
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's some kind of particulate suspended in a
In
solution,
a fluid medium.
But I imagine that's kind of
Sounds
like
delicious.
yes, because you can eat anything. So I imagine like Dren's goggles are kind of like that, where they're kind of these swirly this setting on the goggle, right? And so you're able to see Rozzy flying around. He's pretty high up, and you're able to get a lay of a lay of the land, and you can see the blast radius. Like we said, 2 to 3 miles from the center, and you're able to see kind of where all the trees are now pointing, and you're able to see where that epicenter is. So he starts to swoop down and moving closer, and then as he starts to move in, you see it looks like it might have been something like a Stonehenge at some point, like with large rocks that have been knocked over as well. But it's and as he starts to get close to it, you can see that it's almost like words or like symbols carved around these great pillars, but they've all been knocked to the ground. And then the signal goes black, like static.
I'm panicked. Then I'm instantly running or bolting to the direction that I last had contact with him.
I hope he's disintegrated. Kidding. Yugon doesn't know that. Yugon doesn't say that. I'm just being a
if
bubble.
I'm sitting there licking dirt with like
like a rock. This rock. It's an arcane rock.
And then it's gonna be like you can see like the distance in the eyes kind of thing, and then I'm just gonna book my little tiny legs whatever direction he is.
Boing.
Does she say anything?
No, I would just bolt.
Thenek's going to assume that all the dirt she ate has treated her poorly.
You got to know when to say when.
Oh, I like how this like pretty somber scene has turned completely comedic. That's great.
Blurry clues. Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say anything. It would just be, it'd be like the far off distance look, and then I would just book it.
I just rolled a 20 on a perception check,
Mm-hmm.
a not unnatural, a natural 20.
So
I do see her running, and I jog after her.
Okay, because for you it's a jog.
Yeah,
Dren might got a full sprint.
Wait. What's my speed? My speed's 25.
Yeah, mine's definitely like 30.
So yeah, he doesn't have to run nearly as fast.
Yeah, mine's 30.
Hey, how you doing down there? Jog.
Definitely.
Running real fast.
And
Your little
so-
legs.
Shut up!
So I like run after her. I'm like, Dren. Is everything okay?
If he chases after me, I'd be like, I lost Rozzy. I gotta find him.
And so
This is probably like out of character for Dren. It's gonna be like I don't normally show kind of that concern.
Normally, you don't care about anybody but yourself.
So with
Exactly.
the perception check, do I see Rozzy in the immediate and like in the area of perception ability?
You do not.
Okay, so I was like, oh, I don't see him. It's a him.
I get more panic.
Is Rozzy a him or a she?
Rozzy, as far as I know, is identified as a him.
Okay.
But I don't know if Dren's actually cared enough to ask.
Okay.
I haven't asked about their
I
pronouns.
think Eno would just say it because he doesn't know.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, I don't see it.
And you're probably still within earshot of Thunik and Hugon, so it's not like, because I can't imagine this is a quiet conversation of Dren going, I lost Rozzy.
No,
I lost Rozzy.
This is panicked. Yeah, this is absolutely panicked.
So I hit the button on the thing and I go, we lost Rozzy.
Wee woo.
Yeah.
Are
Get back to me when you
But
have
we're
important information.
We're like 100 feet away. We're like 75 feet away. We lost Rozzy.
Hugon is patently not interested in any of this, and is heading towards the epicenter.
Well, that's where they're running to, so you have
Cool. Well, he's just taking his time.
Yeah, he's moving at a leisurely pace.
Thunik is not entirely certain what the big deal is. Animals tend to find themselves wherever they feel like going, and just near scene can tell Rozzy is some sort of animal.
Part of him is.
So He's just going to sort of like walk and talk with his sister and like
Catch up.
well, not so much catch up. This is less of a catch up situation. Like figure out exactly
No,
what
about
the
catch up.
proper direction of where we're going about catch up. Nope. That's not
Goddamn villain.
So everyone's now like, so we've got Eno. Who's Raz? Eno and Dren running towards Razi. Okay, this is where it gets confusing, right? We've got them. Then we've got Hugon moving. Now, okay, well, this is where everyone's kind of moving at their own pace here. We've got Thunuk and Kjats moving at their pace towards the epicenter. I'm assuming, is that the direction you guys were walking, or are you guys just chilling?
Yeah.
And so are the three of you together?
I mean, we're probably in proximity, but together,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not like walking from an explosion together
Mhm.
or towards a direction.
You're all
like-
walking in the same direction at the same pace,
there's no
relatively close to each other. Okay.
There's no montage music here.
I imagine I picked off first, and then was like, "Oh, hey, go do this," and then Thunuk and
Mhm.
Hugon were like,
Hugon's still
Yay.
mad at Thunuk's sister, so like, kind of not
She
near
said some
her.
things.
She did say some things. She said some hurtful things.
I don't remember what. Oh, yeah.
She
Well-
thought she could tell me my business.
She thought she was being helpful, is what it was, but.
She wouldn't take him either.
Eno and Drenmai, I need you to make dexterity saving throws.
"Dex
Oh,
save."
goody.
Okay. What's my?
Oh,
Oh, there's
alright.
my Dex save.
Alright.
That's a 9.
Okay.
Got an 18 total.
18. Okay. Hang on, let me see something here. Ooh. No.
Yeah.
That's, is that the right one? I think it's the right one. So you guys, as you guys are running towards the epicenter, you're making pretty good time. You're getting closer to, where this. So Drenmai, where you saw this was like right at the edge of like, so the way the Merthwatch are, there's some mountains that kind of gradually form, right? Where you're in the foothills and then it gets steeper and steeper and then, mountains. This is almost like a plain, and then these almost like kind of shoot up out of, like almost out of nowhere. For a visual reference, if you wanted to see what this looks like, you would do a Google image search for a mountain range called the Gunks in New York, and you would see how like this cliff range just kind of shoots up out of nowhere in a relatively flat.
Gunks.
The Gunks, short for the Sean Gunks.
Okay, cool.
yeah.
I was like, if that's the whole name,
No, it's the short.
did an orc name this mountain range?
The Gunks, maybe. I don't know.
Gunk. Okay.
But and you saw it like right where that's kind of like where this little epicenter was. But as you guys are getting closer, this you get a bit of a heads up on this, which is why you're able to dodge out of the way. But you hear it sounds like a dull whistling through the air, and you're able to look up in just enough time to see this enormous boulder come flying down out of the sky and crash like in front of you. And you're able to get out of the way. Drenmai, you take 8 points of shrapnel damage from as this boulder hits, and it kind of like explodes a little bit. So it's kind of like pebbles, but it's a big ass boulder, and you're not big.
A little ass person.
A little ass person. So, so you take 8 points of we'll call it bludgeoning damage. Just from these little little pieces of shrapnel, and I would like you to also make another dexterity save to see if you stay on your feet or if you're knocked prone because of the.
Deck save.
I'm still on my feet then.
Yes.
I'm not. That's a 4.
So it hits you, and it's like sometimes this has happened to me as a kid. I don't know if it's happened to anyone else as a kid, but you're running, and something like little hits your leg, and it's just enough to like, boop, timing's off, and just wipe out. And that's kind of what's going on here because I think Dren was running with reckless abandon. So this is why, like in the slasher movies, why when they trip and fall over nothing, because that actually does happen. If you're running and you're scared and you're not thinking and you just trip a little bit and you're, face plant. But you were able to get out of the way, so you were able to nimbly, deftly move out of the way. There might have been even like a little bit of a running tuck and roll, then back up to running situation happening there.
Yeah. So I think I would immediately like try and look around, like, and I would see Dren kind of has bitten it and is on the ground, and I'll say, "Oh, Dren," and then I'll cast Healing Word on her, and she gets 7 points.
Oh.
Of healing.
Hey, I'm almost back.
Okay.
So that's
Well done.
7.
Eno
I'll be like,
and not
thanks.
Eno.
Does that still keep me prone, or is that just?
No, you would still have to get up.
Yeah, you're
You'd have to
still-
just but your momentum has stopped. Like you stopped, you face planted, gravel or whatever. It wasn't that gravel, but dirt. You're running. You're trying to like run around these trees that have been blasted, and Hugon and the other one, Thonic. Just having some brain farts right now.
The other one.
The other guy, the big one. Give me a perception check.
Also, we're not leaving a trail, by the way, when we're running.
That's true.
But you're also not moving stealthily.
12 total.
12 total.
True.
19.
19. You both see ahead of you. You see the boulder smash into the ground. You see Drenmai, take a header, take a face plant. It's kind of like a face first slide into home plate there. Is able to get out of the way, do a little tuck and roll. But Thonic, you were actually able to see that this looks like you saw it come down from the sky, and it looks like it almost arced out of like the mountains as you guys as they're getting closer.
Where the hell did that come from?
Someone threw it. Maybe from the mountains.
That's a hell of a throw.
From up there. How big is this boulder? Like, I mean, Thunic would know. Like, would a stone giant have a problem throwing something like this?
No, they would not.
Was
In
the
fact,
boulder a boulder, or was it like a sphere of stone, like a worked sphere of stone?
It looked like a natural rock.
Okay, cool.
Just a very large one. It was spherical-ish. You don't want to.
Right, but not like a worked stone. It was just
No, nothing like that. It was
grab rock, throw rock.
This is
exactly.
Someone picked it up and said it's a good throwing rock, and then they threw it
and like hefted it.
Yeah.
And you would.
Or
I'm going to say that this doesn't even require a check. That Thunic, you would know that that's something that giants are very good at, is throwing rocks. There's competitions. This is just like common knowledge among the Firbolg that giants like to throw rocks. They are very good at throwing rocks. You also know that if you didn't get hit by the rock, it's because they didn't want to hit you with the rock.
Okay. I will go to the manacle and hit, or wristlet or whatever, and hit the button. And you guys should not go any further. They didn't miss. That was a message to Eno and Drenmai.
Yeah. Is that where we're going?
We were running towards the mountains, right? Okay, yeah. So, yeah, the rock came from the mountains. They threw it at you. They probably don't want you to come closer. It might be a warning.
Mountains.
Well, we're here to rescue.
Yeah, but you see, they see you.
Yeah.
and they didn't miss. They're really good at throwing rocks.
It's
You
a
might,
warning shot.
you might want to take a few steps back.
Okay. And then Eno like runs over and like grabs Dren. Like lifts her off so she's not prone anymore and just starts booking it back towards Funnick.
And somehow I have the vision in my head of someone trying to carry a cat somewhere where the cat does not want to go there.
Yeah, I'm gonna
It's like a
say
living
this.
blender. Fuck.
Yeah, I try to grapple you.
I'm gonna say it's definitely contested because if you don't
Alright.
tell me anything,
Yeah, I'm not. Well, I think I say we gotta go. I probably say we gotta go, and then I
Scoop and run. So let's see a
grab it.
contested
if that's all you say, it's immediately gonna be contested for
Okay.
strength.
contested grapple.
All right.
And Dren's a listen. Dren
I'm
is
a
a
strong boy.
You're probably gonna win. Oh yeah, you're gonna win. What'd you get?
In total of 3.
Hey! Guess what, Drenmai? I got a 0.
Jeez. Oh my god. It
I
is
got a
the
0.
most. It is like the most uncoordinated.
The weakest fight ever.
It is more like just.
Let's go! I completely fail at trying to grab you. Like I go to grab you and I just trip or something. I'm like, oh, but we have to go.
Yeah, in my head, I'm seeing now. If you ever do a YouTube search for it's called slap martial arts, and that's kind of what I'm seeing in my head of the two people, kind of like. Yeah.
I'm like, we gotta go.
Yeah, you gotta look up slap martial arts at some point.
Okay.
Okay. That'll give you the good visual reference I have in my head, and it might be different for you.
It cannot be. I believe I rolled that low.
So it's like, sorry, but we have to go. They're throwing things.
Hugon sees all of that and it's just like, what a fucking pathetic.
There's just so much to unpack there.
He actually laughs. It's just-
So we've got what's everyone's deal here? So describe to me. So this is where we left things. Eno tried to turn on grab, could not grab. It was the most unathletic thing that anyone has ever done on both parties. It was
bad.
Yeah.
Hugon is activating his eagle goggles because they're already
Yes.
set to binocular vision and seeing where the hell that rock came from.
Okay. I want to hear what everyone's plan is here, and then we'll parse
Right,
out
that's
exactly.
his plan.
Yeah, we'll
I
educate.
have
Okay, so I like that.
no sense of self preservation. It's just getting to Razi.
Okay, so just
So it'd
running to
still
Razi.
be going towards focal point.
Okay.
It was like the most nondescript struggle. Let go and run.
Fie upon you,
Damn it.
sir.
I tried, you know.
It's
more
like you went to grab a
bucket,
yeah.
bucket.
What is? No, it's not. It's the. No, I can't do it yet. Dang it! Dang it! Dang it! Dang it!
Dang it. Dang it.
Oh.
Dag and also Nabbit.
Oh, never mind. Damn it.
No, we're right back to where we started.
Both trees must be living and at least the same size as you.
I
So
knew
I'm
that.
gonna-
He's gonna try to tree walk.
Yeah, gonna tree strider. Thunek is going to turn to his sister, and he's going to ask her, was this a problem for you last time when you came through here? Were they throwing rocks at you?
She says, I left at night, and I was trying to be sneaky. So I don't think they saw me when I left. But it appears that it's the middle of the day and your friends are not trying to be sneaky. I don't think this is helping them.
That is a good point. Um. How long is a turn outside of combat?
Nondescript. Depends on what
Okay.
you're trying to do.
Hidden step.
Okay, what does hidden step do?
I get to be invisible until my next turn. I get one of those per day or per short rest.
For short rest.
Bonus action: turn invisible until the start of your next turn. You attack, deal damage, or force a saving throw once per short rest. So basically, any of those things happen, and I'm not invisible anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So what is it you're trying to accomplish? And I'll tell you if you think you'd be able to judge whether or not you might be able to do it.
Clearly, Drenmai has no interest in coming back. Maybe I need to go over there and get Razi for her.
Oh, okay. So you're trying to traverse that distance.
Yeah, I'm really not really sure how much further it is. That dog is going nutso.
Yeah, she just got attacked.
I abandoned him for far too long being at south.
Well, let's do this first. Before we get to that, Hugon, let's see. So this is going to be Eagle Eye, and we said it's going to be like a proficiency, add in a proficiency bonus with advantage. That's how we rolled. That's how we adjudicated it before, so we shall adjudicate it again.
This is 3 plus proficiency. Is level 9 proficiency 4 now? Or is it still proficiency 3? I have no idea where my book is. I must have put it somewhere.
Level 9
Mine's
is a
4.
plus 4. Yeah, you're still plus
Okay,
4.
so-
You don't get a boast until you're level 11.
It's 18 then. And that's on the
18.
first die, so let me
That's
roll
first die.
advantage.
Yes, let's see it with advantage.
No, 18. Because the second roll was a 1.
Oh God. So you're like doing like kind of like the battlefield binocular,
Mm-hmm.
you know, trying to figure out where that sniper was.
Like crouch and be like, where the fuck did that come from?
Yeah, like,
Even though like there's no cover, just crouch, just.
well, there's coverage. I mean, you've got the trees that have been downed,
true.
so it's
But
not
I mean,
like,
how far away are they from the mountain range?
at
Pretty
this
far.
at this point, Drenmai and Eno are probably getting within 200 to 300 feet.
So that's a 200 to 300 foot straight line, which means its parabola was pretty fucking significant.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody chucked that rock from a very
Mhm.
far distance.
Okay, so the 18. You have a vague idea of where the trajectory might have been from.
Mhm.
You're not seeing anything standing out right now. It'd have to be one of those things where maybe you need to see the next shot.
Mhm.
Or the next stone if another stone were to be thrown. But you have a vague idea, so you know where to look. But during the course that you did see a little glint down on the ground near where it looks like there's some other rocks that are knocked over now. So because Dren did not get a chance to share with you the what Razi had seen with these knocked over pillars, but you can see like there's almost like a little glint that's down there, where there's like some rock formations that look not natural.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is Eno and Drenmai's proximity to that location? Did the rock happen before they got there or after they got there? I guess there's two pieces of information that I would.
So
like.
it was about when they got to be between 200 and 300 feet away from this kind of like area where you see like that little formation. That's where the first rock hit. So you guys
They haven't quite gotten there yet.
They have not to the epicenter. No, that's where you can see kind of where the epicenter of all of this is. Drenmai is still tearing off at that. I think, Thunic, if you were to move at like a full dead-on sprint, you could probably cover about half the distance to the epicenter using your from where you are using that invisibility power that you were looking to do.
Okay.
If you so chose to do so.
I'm thinking not.
No.
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 But those two are not coming back anytime soon, so is going to go and just get them.
Which them?
Eno and Drenmai.
Eno and Drenmai. Okay.
Yeah. Because here's him fumbling royally and probably face planting while trying to grab a whirling dervish of Drenmai. And here's Drenmai basically turning into a whirling dervish of Drenmai. He's like, I'm just going to go get them and bring them back. He's going to hoist them both and run back.
So you got to. So your first is going to be to get towards Eno.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to run to Eno, and Drenmai is still now, taking off her direction there.
I will prioritize Drenmai.
Okay.
Because it is easier to grab and carry a Drenmai.
So what is your speed?
30.
30. Drenmai, and your speed's 25. Really? You only 30? You would think that with the...
Yeah, you would think with that leg span, you should get more.
-2 to Dex.
Oh.
Okay, so he's fumbling. It's not like this
He's
nice
not a good walker.
sprinter's gait. It's a kind of a lumber.
If you've ever seen me run, it's probably...
So I'm gonna say that with with Drenmai running and you running, I'm gonna say that I know that if we wanted to do the math on this, we could actually figure out the exact amount of time it would take for you to overtake her. But for the sake of D&D
trains
purposes,
going this direction at
exactly.
this speed. Other
Yeah, there is a word
trains
problem here that we're just not
I
going
was
to
really
do.
good at this sort of math stuff when I was a kid.
I if we had the time, I would do it, but we're not going to. We're going to do it in Dungeons and Dragons terms, which means that I'm going to say you're going to have 2 turns of you guys trying to do that. Drenmai, you think you can make the final... It's going to take you about 3 turns to get to where you think the last time you saw Razi.
And I will say that sort of right after I miss her and she takes off again, that Eno definitely runs after her again.
Okay.
And when I catch up to her, I cast invisibility on her. I tap her on the shoulder and I cast invisibility and I say, go get her. Go get it.
So just disappeared.
So as I can picture sort of as Thunuk is running, I'm also running towards her and I get to her first and then I cast invisibility on her.
Okay, so we have a few... Actually, for the sake of this, because I need to adjudicate this, let's roll initiative, not because we're in battle, but because it's going to be easier with everyone figuring this out here. Hugon, we will include you as well. Yeah. So, and then let me see what the other 2 are going to do here, because we have him.
15.
That's going to be... Hang on a second.
Jesus. I've been rolling total ass today.
Hang on one second here. Oh,
I've
Jesus.
been polar opposites. It's either really good or really awful.
Okay, so did anyone roll between 25 and 20?
No.
No. Did anybody roll between 15 and 20?
Yes.
Okay. Anyone else? No. Okay. Did anyone roll between 10 and 15?
Yeah.
Okay. Eno? Between 5 and 10. Wow.
Wow, guys. Wow.
I love it.
Okay. And
wait, Hugon.
I got a 10.
Oh, you got a 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a 10.
Okay.
10 even.
Okay. And then Thunuk?
4.
4. Okay. Well, listen, there's a lot of Thunuk that needs to get moving. It's not just like...
No, yeah, it's perfectly reasonable.
They're the opposite of dwarves. They're not natural sprinters.
They are.
They're very dangerous over long distances.
Yeah.
Yeah, 13 for the record.
13.
He's also very busy shouting, "Wiggle run, wiggle run, wiggle run. What's the word? Wiggle run." He's trying to say serpentine.
Oh.
Wiggle run.
Wiggle run.
Actually, would Thunic be like, snake move? Snake move!
Snake move. Wiggle run.
Wiggle
Everything
run.
that could possibly, like, you're going through like a children's crossroad and crossword, and it's like anything that could be used to describe serpentine in one of those is what he's saying.
Nice Peter Falk reference as well. Okay, so Dren running, and Dren, I'm assuming that's like your only kind of like, that's kind of like your mentality, run. Eno, you touch her on the shoulder, and she just disappears. Hugon, as this happens, well, let me do this. Okay. More rocks come hurling from the mountains. So we're going to come to you in a second, Hugon.
It's gone from one shot to barrage.
I need Dren and Eno to now, because Thunic hasn't moved into this space yet. I need Dren and Eno to again do dexterity saves.
And also pass without trace is now down. It's not
okay.
active anymore.
Yeah, what did you get?
Oh fuck.
That's a block. It's one today.
I got a 10.
You got a 10.
Yeah.
So Drenmai, you're fine. You're able to. You've like disappeared, and you're able to. You're moving at such a pace that you're able to. The rock actually falls like just a little bit behind you, so you're able to like not have to worry about the trajectory of things. You don't have to worry about the rocks hitting you. You were able to move a little bit, but you take 1 point of like a bludgeoning damage. It's like a little piece of rock like kind of hits you like right in the cheek, from it shattering.
Not even really enough to yell. I just go
Yeah, it's more like a like yeah.
Damn it.
But now Hugon, with these now, because you were looking in that direction, now you can see where this is coming from.
Okay.
And you see wherever this little formation is, and you can kind of see, and it wasn't clear before, but now that you're getting a better idea of the lay of the land and the depth of everything, it looks like there is a staircase, natural or not, you're not sure, but it looks like a staircase that's kind of doing a switchback up the face of this mountain here. And you can see there is a ledge approximately 100 feet up, and it looks like this ledge actually carries almost in some way, shape, or form the entire traverse of the mountain, breaking up in some places or whatnot, different levels, but in general you can kind of see it looks like
terraces almost.
Yeah, but it's almost like a constant where you think you might, if you wanted to, you might be able to traverse as far as you can see in both directions following this line. You're able to take all this in. But you are able to see, it looks like very large figures up there. And you can see that there's, it looks like there's at least 3. You don't know if there's more, but there's at least 3 large, very large, muscular humanoids up there that seem to be the source of these of these natural ballistic objects. So now Thunic, now you're gonna come running in, right? Now as you come running in, you see that Alexi has now turned Drenmai invisible.
Eno.
Who did I say?
You said Alexi.
Alexi did not do this.
I was really concerned for a minute.
Alexi did not do that. Eno did that.
Thank you.
I had Alexi written. I was looking at the word. That's why.
Sure.
So yeah, you're able to. You see that. Well, you see that you do not see Dren anymore.
Okay.
But you're able to run in. But you see the second boulder. The second boulders now come crashing down into the midst of your friends now. Your sister and Alexei and Hugon have kind of stayed. It seems like, I'm guessing they've all, Hugon stayed out of range. He hasn't
Oh
moved in
yeah,
yet.
he's not going over there.
He's sighting. He's like so.
And just because it's fun, I actually don't know this mathematical equation at all,
Mhm.
but I'm just looking up at what the parabola would be
Mhm.
for those rocks. It's like something on the order of like 375 feet.
For the entire distance traveled.
Yeah, it's absolutely just absurd.
Yeah.
It's like trebuchets, but people.
Yep.
So is there anything anyone else wants to do before we kind of like reset the order before we hit the top of initiative? There's not initiative, but because there's really not a battle. There's nothing for you to attack. There's just things being thrown at you.
So I can't see the creatures from where I'm at, the giants.
You could try to make a perception check to see if you could see them,
Okay.
because you're closer, but you're not using eagle eye the way that.
Right. Well, and it's oh, okay. It's an 11.
No, you cannot. You
All right.
you have a vague idea, and I don't mean like not being like smart ass, like, oh, it's
Okay.
coming from up and at the mountain, but it's like you have an idea of like about where, but you're too. Listen, you have a lot going on right now. You got a lot on your plate.
Yeah.
You're
Is it-
concentrating on a spell. You're trying not to get hit by rocks.
True.
There's running. You did get hit by a rock. There's a lot to process. So, yeah.
Do I think it's more than 320 feet away?
You do not.
I don't think it's more than 320 feet
You think
away.
it's less than 320 feet
Okay.
away.
I take out my short bow and I just fire an arrow in the general direction. I go, stop it!
Cut that out.
Well, give me a
Attack
ranged
roll?
weapon roll. Yeah,
Alright.
give me a ranged weapon attack roll here.
Okay.
I wasn't expecting to have to break this out today, but hey, here we are.
Oh, hey. Okay, so that's a 23.
A 23.
Mm-hmm. I got a 17 plus 6.
The rocks redouble in their ferocity.
And my max range is 320 on the short bow.
Okay, hang on a second.
It says 80, and then in parentheses it says 320. I don't know how that works. I've never adjudicated a distance bow shot before.
It's every full range increment after the first is your maximum range. So like 80 to 160 feet is your second range increment. You would take negative 2, I think.
You roll. I think it's a disadvantage at that point.
Is it disadvantage? Okay.
Yeah. So you have like your first range, which is like your normal range. You have your second range, where if. Wait, no, I'm sorry. Give me a second here.
Okay.
So you have a normal range of up to a certain amount. Then you have a second range. Then you're at disadvantage, and then you just will not be successful. It's an automatic failure beyond that range.
Okay,
So
so
if you're-
I have disadvantage to the attack.
Yeah,
rolls,
you
okay.
should. Yeah, you should roll.
Oh, fuck. All right, well, that's not as good.
What is it?
9.
No.
All right. So I just go, stop it. I kind of shout it.
Okay. All right, Drenmai. So you think you're now about like one turn away from being able to get to Razi. You can see him now.
Do I see him? Okay.
You do see him.
Okay.
You see him on the ground. He's moving. He's not like not moving. He's not. He's moving. He's not. You're not
Okay,
seeing
I was
like
about
this.
to say, if he's not moving, I'm going to full panic.
I'm saying this as the dungeon master. I don't want to see what happens if Razi were to die, because then I think it's like every spell that Dren has
At once.
at once. Just...
Honestly, as a player, I kind of do want to see that.
The player, I want to see it.
I kind of want to see where
But
that goes.
I don't want to be the one that causes that trauma. So if it happens, we will play it out. But I don't, as the dungeon master and as Clues' friend, I don't want to be the one to inflict that kind of trauma of, oh, I killed your familiar.
Sometimes familiars die.
Yeah, but
There's a reason they have a spell called.
Revive familiar.
Well, also locate familiar as like.
Oh yeah,
make me a
'cause if
new
you're
one.
familiar- Yeah. Just...
But this is anyway. So Dren, are you doing anything but running to Razi now that you're invisible?
Let's see. If I'm invisible and I see him,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Can I do anything that would expedite? Do I see he's in any danger from something?
Aside from rocks being thrown at you,
Do I see what's throwing the rocks then?
perception check.
God damn.
So she's invisible. They can see her.
Well, not
No,
anymore.
I'm
They
invisible.
can't.
Okay.
They threw it like right as he got there. It was sort of like in that moment, like they threw it in
Yeah.
that, where she last was,
Gotcha.
which didn't do them any good.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20, an unnatural 20.
Unnatural 20.
An unnatural 20. Yes, you can see these enormous.
I'm small, so this must be gigantic to me.
It is. I'm trying to see what the heights on these guys are. They are. So stone giants are about 18 feet tall. They're
so massive to me.
they're
big. They're large.
Big. Yeah,
large.
big.
It's a large. You got.
It's a
They're like
large.
they're not quite a double extra large, but they're an extra large.
Like
Yeah. No. For Dren, it's like triple XL.
they're like big,
Yes.
giant, large.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good yes.
Okay.
Um,
Where do
And
I
but
see
yeah, but you can
Ozzy?
see them up. You can see them up on this ledge, and you can see these are the ones, these grayish-looking stone-colored humanoids that have just muscles. I mean, they're just. I mean, it's basically if you took clay, if you just took muscles, made
They're
them look like
strength
stone. Yeah, it's
personified.
yeah.
Where do I see Razi? Do I see him flying? Do I see him on the ground? Where do I
No,
see
he's
him
on
in
the
relation to
ground.
Big
He's
Boys?
he, he's on the ground, and from your angle, you can see he's kind of like crawled under one of the, as far as he can, under one of these fallen trees,
Okay.
kind of right near the edge of where this altar area is.
So, okay, but I'm still invisible, and I have the boost to my snack.
Well, you're invisible, so they really.
I'm like extra snack, so I'm going to go straight for him. If I don't see,
Super snack.
yeah, I'm super snack. I want
Okay.
to go straight to him. So if I have to do a stealth check, that's fine.
I mean, yeah, but you get at invisible. I mean, it's almost like plus infinity
Okay.
at this point.
Do I get an advantage? Because I whomped on the advantage.
I think invisibility might be one of the few things that actually is a numeric bonus. I don't remember.
Okay. Well, I
Let's
rolled
see.
an 18 regardless.
Well,
and
I think you're fine. I'm
that's-
just gonna say that's fine.
24 plus whatever is
You
my
fucking
bonus.
succeed. Shut up.
Yeah, I mean, so with invisibility, the issue is that you're still making noise and you're still moving things. So if you were like
Yes.
running through water, it would be obvious. It'd be like
You would
Predator
splish
moving through the
splash.
water. Yeah, exactly.
I
You're
don't.
still
I
making
don't
noise.
think.
But
I
in this
would get at
case,
this point.
I think you're. Listen, at an 18, yeah, you're fine. Yeah, you're able to
Yeah.
move. So
It's
on the
a
next
24.
turn, so on your next turn, you will be able to reach, Razi.
I'm.
Okay.
I'm not doing anything to stone throwing boys yet. My
Mhm.
immediate thing is I want to go to my baby.
But that word yet.
Yeah. Oh,
Eno.
things are gonna get fucked up soon.
Well, Eno
And
Eno
Hugon is
fired.
standing there, just crossed arms, like watching this all happen
Yeah.
from like a safe distance.
Eno, you fired your arrow. This was your thing. Hugon, are you doing anything? So now, Hugon, you see where these guys are. Dren's disappeared. You've surmised that it's due to the machinations of one.
Hugon's trying to do assessment
And but then you also saw Eno randomly fire an arrow up towards in the general direction,
Did I see
nowhere
it hit
near.
anything?
It,
Or just go.
it plunks harmlessly off the stone wall behind them. Yeah, it's
See, Hugon is like sitting here and just being like, no, this is not a tenable situation. The problem is such that they have such a superior position and such an unerring accuracy with these rocks.
Yeah.
That even getting to the stairs would not guarantee safety because they can still pelt you as you go up them. They're not covered stairs. They're like
this
staggered
is
on their way up.
this is a
just
very
casually drop
defensible
them.
position.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
and
just-
like Hugon is like, no, I think not. I would rather live.
Can Thunux see them?
Perception check.
As he roughly saw where shot. 19.
19. Yes. You can see them. You do see the stone giants. Steinjotun.
How far away are they?
At this point, at the speed you've been moving, I'm going to say you're probably within about 100 to 150 feet of them here and then up. So, again, we could talk
It's
about...
a straight line 150 feet.
Is there a range you're looking to hit? Because then we're doing a lot of geometry here today, and we could do the a squared, b squared, c squared.
I
thing.
feel-
I've
Appreciate
already
the math today.
if the epicenter, if they were 1 to 300 feet away from the epicenter when the first rock fell, and the vertical height is 100 feet, the hypotenuse is about 300 and
Hang on.
320.
100 feet. No, I'm going to do a square. It's a squared plus b plus c squared. So we're saying 300 feet.
300 feet across the bottom, and then
So
100 feet up.
90,000.
It's not cubed.
Plus.
Did you
Square.
cube
It's the
300
square
or-
root. No, it's the square root of 100,000, and I can't do that math. So, no, yes, I can.
Square
No, I
root
can't.
of 100,000
No,
is.
hold
on. So.
Oh, here we go. I got it right here. Hang on.
Can't remember.
Where's the square root button? It's the pi button. I don't know. Anyway, what do you want to do?
I need 120 feet.
Okay, square root of 100,000 is 316. Just so we know.
Okay, not yet.
That was the
Not yet.
original distance, or the distance I am now away from there.
We are doing math today.
When did
I
this turn
ran.
into- When did this turn into Warhammer?
I ran so far
this is-
away. Couldn't get away.
Yeah, I'm gonna say if your range is 120, you're not quite there. You'll be there at the beginning of your next turn. You'll be in range for 120.
You know what? What the hell? I just keep running.
That's right.
Okay,
It's about
run.
300 feet.
all right. But now it's the Giants are now because a arrow has been fired.
Oh God.
Now they're trying.
Hmm.
Um,
Before it's just
Congratulations.
like, hey, you think I can hit that one? Now it's.
It's like throwing rocks into a pond to see the splash, and now you're like, oh, now it's the pond fired back, and you're like,
well, fuck that pond. So attack
it's
number
not lobbed, it's pitched now.
attack number 1 is coming your way. You know.
Excellent.
That's. I'm guessing a 14 does not hit.
Oh, my armor class?
Yes.
My AC is 14.
Oh no.
Really?
Yes.
That's unfortunate.
Yes.
Okay.
I thought it
You
was
need to be more sturdy.
I thought you had
Um,
that studded leather.
Hey, I do have studded leather, and it's
Oh, I thought-
14.
Oh, I thought it was 15.
No.
Oh,
Are we
What am I
sure
thinking?
here?
Are you sure? Because my leather alone gives me 15.
you have a high dex.
No,
I do have a high dex.
I got studded leather. My dex is 14.
No.
Studded leather
Can we play a level 20 round? It's
is 12 plus your dex modifier.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
which
dear.
is 2. So that's 14.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Hang on a
I
second.
already went back through that like a while
Ooh.
ago because I was like, man, my AC is low.
No. Wait. That's that's not what I think it is, right? Okay. Oh, 12. Oh shit. 22 points
Okay.
of
Oof.
bludgeoning damage as this
Oh,
rock
whoop.
All right.
plows into you, and you also now need to make a strength saving throw or be knocked prone.
Excellent.
Am I
Oh,
close to
that's,
him where I can like help?
No, you're focused on Razi. You're not.
Yes,
you're
I
oblivious to
know.
the world.
It's a 12.
You are knocked prone. This
All
thing catches you. You could feel your ribs crack a little bit on this one.
Okay.
Right? Rock, boom. It was a smaller rock though, fortunately. Here's attack number 2.
Okay.
This one is and as it hits you, you're pretty sure from up on the roof you hear a roar.
All right.
And then the next one, Thunuk, is going towards you. That does not hit.
Okay.
It misses horribly. Like it's not. It's like short and wide. Like this isn't even like a warning shot. This was like messed up. And you're pretty sure you hear coming up from the.
His fingers were sweaty.
Yeah.
It came off in a weird spin.
This is his giant
These weak
equivalent
arms
of
are heavy.
bowling.
And then
His
you
mom
hear
got a
in.
sweater already, Mom spaghetti.
And then in giant you hear. Watch me. I'll get him.
Oh yeah.
And
Yorn, you suck.
uh.
They're up there drinking beers.
Your throws are always terrible. You throw like you fuck. Anyway,
Badly.
that
Oh,
one.
snap!
Wow.
That one is a 23 to hit.
Like a total
Thunuk.
amateur. Ooh.
Yeah,
It
that's
It
that's a hit.
stings.
Okay,
That's-
let's see the damage first. Let's see what this does. And okay, that's 7 and 5 is 12. 19. 24 points of bludgeoning damage. And
Wow.
you now need to make a strength saving throw.
All right, hold on. 24. Hit the button. Damage. All right, strength saving throw.
Mm-hmm.
17.
You are knocked prone.
What?
What you?
17.
Oh, what was it?
17.
Oh no, I'm sorry. You make it. I thought you said 13.
No,
no,
that's
17.
what I rolled.
You're able to.
Actually.
You roll a 17, and it's like it hits you, and it's like, you Happy Gilmore this thing, or Happy Gilmore the thing, where it just hits you in the chest. You're able to like just eat. You're able to eat that. I mean, it hurts,
Do it again.
but just you're able to, and you keep on trucking. So, but that hurt, and you could feel there's, some ribs might have cracked a little bit, and there's, breathing hurts a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but because that's what happens when a rock is hurled purposefully at your torso. Top of the order, Dren.
So I'm gonna make it to Razi at this point, right?
You are gonna make it to Razi. You were able to come running in, and there's Razi there, kind of like hiding.
Big hug.
Mm-hmm.
Big hug, little arms. I'll do the once over, like mechanical. Are you fine?
Mm-hmm.
Visibly.
Yeah.
Yeah, Razi has no idea what the hell is going on, right?
Like, I'm being picked up. I don't like it.
Again,
Yeah,
now
it's
you're
like a
now
really bad chiropractic
Well, actually,
visit. It's just
let's-
like pick up.
the worst chiropractor ever. This is the one that didn't do so well. They went to like the online class for chiropractic.
Yeah, it's
school.
online, 100%.
You're gonna follow up with some of that applied kinesthesiology. You're gonna. This is actually gonna be a contested grapple because he does not know it's you when you first
Okay.
grab him. So again, it's like trying to grab a
Fine.
scared cat.
So if it's a contested grapple, you turn visible.
No,
That's
she didn't
fine.
cast the spell.
It's any action.
It's
Oh,
any
is it?
action.
It's any
Oh,
action.
okay.
Anything that requires a roll, essentially, that isn't like if you're handling something, if you're manipulating something, if you're contesting.
Mhm.
What
But
did
you
you?
can like
What
pick
did
up
you
a
get?
rock and not turn invisible.
Dirty 20.
Well, he crit on that. So you turn visible. You kind of get him. You almost have him. He's able to slip out and like kind of run away for you a second because you surprised him. He didn't know. Now he sees it's you.
Yeah.
It's like, you sneak up on a cat. Cat doesn't know it's
That's
you.
true. I was invisible. I don't know if I've given him any upgrades that would detect that. So
No.
it makes sense.
Yeah. So, but he's able to move. You can see his one of his zoomers is a little, he's holding up the one zoomer, not putting a lot of weight on it. And you can see there's kind of like some sparking in the eye socket region, in the cranial region, which you're interpreting as it knocked the signal out. That's why you weren't able to see what he's seeing. He's not behaving in a way that's like, that he's been, that his core processors have been damaged.
Okay.
If he has that, or his brain.
Well, then can I do like whatever kind of medicine check or just see if he's okay?
Yeah, do a medicine check. We'll allow that as a...
This sucks. This is not my area of expertise. I rolled a 14. That's a 13.
A 14. That's a 13. You're relatively certain. I mean, you can do from the damage you've assessed with. He's got a damaged zoomer, and
okay.
damaged sensors of some kind.
Okay, so he's like the actual physical portion that makes up who Razi is. He's okay. Like his soul is not damaged.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's still fine. He's just he's got some broken bits. So
okay.
Would you like to take an action this turn? Because I'll say that
yeah.
Because I think it's just been like, okay, quick, boom, boom. All right.
I imagine at this point, if the way that I'm picturing it, I'm down on like ground level and the rock throwers are up there, kind of thing, right?
Yes.
None of them have been injured at this point, right?
No. The only attack was from Razi, not Razi. From Eno, who's played by Roz. You can see where.
Yeah.
It's an honest mistake, goddammit.
Hey,
was
Don't you
Eno.
fucking mock me.
And so yeah, he was the I don't even know if you would know, but yeah, it was the lone shot. So they haven't taken any damage. Now they were tossing rocks for fun. Now they're tossing rocks for purpose.
Okay, so then if I sense any amount of damage to my little baby boy here,
I'd like to rage.
I would like to rage.
I'd like to rage, even though I'm not that. But
you'd like to wild magic in this case?
I wondered, has barbarian or has sorcerers, because they're doing all the cross things. Is there a barbarian sorcerer thing?
Yeah, there's a blood rager, I think.
I am not that yet.
Although this might be where the multi-classing starts.
Yeah, this
right
might
here.
be where Dren starts a multi-class, but not yet. But currently I am. How many are there up there that I see?
3.
3?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You're still like hundreds of feet away from that edge. Okay.
Well, she's about 100 feet.
Right. I keep
below them,
picturing her position as right at the foot of the mountains. Which
Yeah,
is,
it's right about there. So yeah, it's about.
my internal mechanism is wrong.
Then, how far are they from me then?
About 100 feet or so.
About 100 feet.
Yeah.
So then I'm gonna take. Oof. Okay, so I can't do that yet. Can I do this? I can't do that. Oh, you're fucked. Are they directly in front of me, or are they like off to the side,
Well,
or like at an angle? I'll let you decide this once. So I am going to lightning bolt the fuck out of them at 5th level. So it's going to be 100 foot long from me, and it is also 5 feet wide. So if I can maybe like clip another one or two,
you'd be able to clip. You'd be able to clip 2 of them. You think?
Okay. So I need to roll 8d6. Hold on a second.
Is there a save on this?
I fucked up. I should have used Hellish Rebuke. Go on.
Yeah, it's a reflex or dexterity save.
It is. Hold on. Yeah, dex save.
All right. Wow,
And,
they're remarkably good at dex.
Surprisingly for giants.
All right, so we have a
See,
17.
What do I get to add to this?
Ooh.
What's wrong, Ross?
Nothing. It wouldn't have mattered.
Oh.
He thought there's a thing. I could have said a word.
It's a 60-foot.
Oh,
It's
right.
okay.
Doesn't matter.
So you're gonna have to beat a 14.
One of them gets a 17.
Okay.
The other got a 1.
Ooh.
So for the purposes of that, I'm going to allow double damage on him because
Yeah,
he
he
basically just
auto-failed.
ate all of it.
Hold
Because
on.
a 1
He
deserves
dove in front of
failure.
his other giant buddy like, no!
No!
I got you, Harl!
Hold on. I only
I'm sorry,
look
I
at
said you
3 at a
suck.
time. Ooh, that was a really good roll. And then 2 more. Add on to that. Math. So, okay. So if they took normal damage, that's gonna be 38.
So hang on.
If they
what?
do double damage, that's gonna be 76.
Jesus Christ. Hang on, let me do this. Let's do. So he does this. Oof. So he's there. The other one, the other one made his save, so he's going to take half, right?
So
And
19.
then yeah, half's
Yeah,
gonna be
okay.
19, right?
All right, so that's where they are with that. Okay, so you cast.
Not sure about the double damage there.
I
That's pretty bad. That's holy shit. That's spicy.
that listen.
Yeah, it was a fail. Instant
I mean, like,
failure.
holy
had-
goddamn.
he was
Okay.
fail. He was standing in a puddle of something. He was grounded. He was and he wasn't wearing rubber. You know, it just so Drenmai like Kamehameha this thing up the mountainside, and I imagine there's some yelling
Oh.
with this.
I'm picturing that I see Rozzy. He freaks out because he doesn't even recognize me at this point, and it's basically grab my staff and just Kamehameha that direction, you fucks.
And the first one basically just eats the vast majority of this. Like, you're pretty sure, even like Hugon, from as far away as you are, that you're almost certain at one point you saw his skeleton like light up.
Or he just it popped like a red balloon.
Yeah. Vague smell of smoked pork, and
Ryan
he's just that. And
Ozone.
the other one takes a shock, and he definitely takes a little bit of a hit there. But the one that ate most of it is he's got some smoke coming off of him, singed. Like there's a little bit of a twitch, like so the one arm's not working properly. He's not looking good at all. Drenmai, give me a wild magic surge check.
Shit. Let's see. Just D20, and if I get a 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's use the one that's been not rolling me ones today. Let's go with this one. 14. I'm safe.
Okay, you're fine.
I'm fine.
Eno.
Wait, just for sanity's sake, would the other one have rolled me a 1? It wouldn't have. Okay.
Okay.
Thank God.
Eno, you are prone.
Eno is lying on the ground and he says, "Ow," and he kind of he waves his hand. He doesn't even bother getting up, and he's like, "Screw you," and he casts a tiny hut. A 10-foot radius immobile a 10-foot radius immobile dome of force springs into existence around him and above him and remains stationary for the duration. The spell ends if I leave the area. 9 creatures of medium size or smaller can fit inside the dome with me. The spell fails if the area includes a larger creature. So Thuna can't come in. Sorry. Creatures and objects within the dome, when I cast the spell, can move through it freely all other creatures and objects are barred from passing through it. So
Oh,
if
interesting.
if they throw another rock at me,
You're
it
not
doesn't
allowed.
hurt.
No
It
rocks
doesn't hurt.
allowed.
Well, they can throw. I'm hoping they keep throwing at me. Like I'm doing this as a diversion
Okay.
to try and be like, I'm like, yeah, you can't hit me, and then I cast hut, and
Can
then
you decide what the hut looks like? Like the roof, does it look like a big bullseye?
yeah, well, so the atmosphere is confused by the dome is opaque from the outside of any color you choose, but it's transparent from the inside. So it's red.
Bright red.
It's a bright red, like as bright as a red as you can get. And he's like, Timora, help us all. And he casts a healing word at the 4th level on himself. That shit. 6, 7, 8. God damn. So I get 12 hit points back.
Oh, that's
It's better than
Better.
0 hit points
Yeah.
back.
yeah.
It'd be significantly worse.
And from up in the mountains, you hear, "Ooh, look, a target!" But it's in giant, so you don't understand it.
Okay.
Hugon. Hugon.
At what point does Hugon believe? Like, how close does Hugon think that he can get before he enters rock range? Because he's basically, as soon as that first rock hit the ground, the very first one, he stopped where he was at.
Yeah.
He did not proceed forward.
I think at this point you would figure you can get you think you have the radius, the range worked out where you think the effective range is probably right around 240, 250 feet, and you figured, okay, I can stop here, and that's just the limit of how far those rocks are gonna go. Yeah.
Okay, I will proceed up to that point. I'm trying to decide. Things look kind of in hand. We've got a mage who's mad. We've got another bardic mage person drawing aggro, but also in like a force field kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really need Hugon right now, which is fine. I'm not mad about that. He doesn't really need to be involved.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll kind of park right at range and just continue to monitor the situation. And if things turn bad, he'll involve himself.
Okay.
He seems content to allow them to, continue to make bad decisions.
How else are they going to learn?
I mean, like, I have no desire to fight giants right now, and it's just a construct. It doesn't really have feelings.
So, Alexi runs into your dome, and says, "Do you mind if I hide in here with you?"
Oh yeah, man, come on in. It's great.
Seems like
here.
a better choice.
Yeah, and like Eno's playing the lute. He's
Yeah.
like, yeah, man, just playing some music.
We have now the giants. We hit with some more rocks come sailing out of their position here. The first two, let's even see. And okay, one doesn't even. So the first one would have sailed right through you. But your barrier, your force field works. It does its job. Does no harm. Lands like harmlessly next to you. It's kind of like you do like that kung fu master thing where you don't move it. It just boom, just lands right here. The other one, again, really far right, really short, and you hear again, "Ha ha! You can't even throw like you fuck. You terrible." But again, in giant, so you don't know any of that's saying. Yeah, it's just some bad insults. "It's how I threw your mom last night." Something like that. Just whatever. And then there is one rock.
That was Thunic's face the entire time he's running for. He's like, ugh.
Yeah.
These giants are so rude.
One rock does come hurling at you, Thunic. One rock.
Mm-hmm.
Oh dear.
Wait, hold on. Time out. Time out.
Yeah.
I haven't had my turn.
He hasn't. You're right.
No,
You
you
skipped
just
right
ran.
past me.
Did I?
Yes.
Yeah. you
Bad
did.
Oh.
DM.
Then,
Damn it.
Bad DM.
Jeez, Brian.
Take your turn, please.
How far away am I?
No, remember, you just kept running because you wanted to see if you were in range.
That
Remember we
was
did all
last
math?
turn.
Yeah, your turn doesn't come up. The giants go before you. You rolled a 4
And then
on
they
your...
went. Oh, they go before me.
Yes, they go before you. They threw the rocks. You got hit. You were running. Ow. Right? You still weren't close enough.
Then I didn't get my turn after that. I haven't had a turn since I said I just keep running.
Well, then take a turn.
that really took a turn.
So what do you do?
What do you
How
do
far away am I?
with this newfound time? At this point, let's see, you're probably let's see, we said you were about what? We said you were around, what did we say it was last time?
Well, I think we decided the original distance was in the 300s.
Now, yeah, the original distance, but you were already running, so so for I'm gonna say you're probably at this point. You would actually be able to. Oh, no, we did say within 2 turns though you'd be able to catch up to Dren. So now you're like almost pretty much in this like little ritualistic area where they.
Is that within 120 feet?
Yes, it is within 120 feet. Yes.
I'm gonna blast them.
You do a blast.
I do a blast.
I do a
Blast 'em.
blast.
Blast them! There they are! Blast them!
It's them. Blast them.
Everyone outside of vocal range starts hearing something that sounds like massive amounts of holy capacitors charging.
It's like a fucking Gundam over there.
And
It's all the lights just like shining into.
God.
God.
I'm going to take my 1 spell slot of 5th,
Oh.
Okay.
and I'm going to cast Guiding Bolt.
Okay.
All right.
Damn.
Provided I can split the Guiding Bolt among them, like just scatter shot them.
Do you get more than 1 bolt?
Well, it
5.
I mean,
it's 1 per
wait.
level, right?
it's one. I was thinking we always themed it as a die is one of the hummingbirds.
Oh, I
that's
see.
right.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
So we have giant.
if you
number
like
1.
scatter shot it, I'm gonna
Mystical shotgun.
Okay.
I'm gonna
so
go
here's
for
what.
5th level.
Okay. So I've got giant number 1. He's the one that did get hit by the lightning bolt, but was able to kind of like move out of the way a little bit. Okay. So this is what happened, right? Lightning bolt's hitting this guy. He gets out of the way. The guy right behind him is the one that gets hit and takes it all in the chest because he doesn't move it out. He kind of goes, what? And just eats it right in the face.
Uh-huh.
So giant number 1 took a little bit of damage, but is looking pretty good. Giant number 2 is the one that is not looking too good because he ate a lot of it. Giant number 3 has not taken any damage at this point.
Okay, that sounds like a no on the scatter shot. That sounds like a no on the scatter shot.
No. I'm saying that as you're calling, if you want to, because we always said that each
Oh, so
die
I can
was.
call them?
Yeah,
Okay,
but I'm
yes.
just saying. So you're calling which one is going after which.
Well, let me roll attack first. This
Okay.
might be an entire waste of time.
It could
That
be.
would be
Theoretical time.
brutal. That would suck so much.
A little bit, yeah.
Don't roll a 1, my man.
Uh,
Bardic inspiration. Bardic inspiration. I know.
I'm out.
I
I've
know.
used them all.
Wait, is Bless a? No, it's an action. Damn it. Fuck up. 18 plus
That
8,
hits.
24.
Yep, that's
26.
good.
I'm sorry, 26.
That is a hit.
All right. I'm going to roll 3 now out of my 8 d6.
Oh, balls.
They go in healthy boy.
Okay, this is going on Healthy Boy.
12.
12 points of damage there. Okay. So that's going to do... Brian, just use a calculator. Stop trying to do this in your head. Because you're a comm major and you can't do math.
Should I make you an abacus?
No. I did that damage. We're fine. We're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
An abacus.
An abaci.
3 die on slightly healthy boy. That's 8.
On slightly healthy boy, so 8. Okay.
And 2 on the frizzy one.
Okay.
9.
Okay. So you're able to do some damage to all of them.
9!
And you got this swarm of hummingbirds just like piercing and doing damage, and they're just all upset because these are 18 foot and these little tiny hummingbirds. It's like for them it's gnats. It's but as we just said, they're throwing boulders. 2 of them went over towards Zeno. 1 does go towards you, Thunic. And unfortunately, when I rolled that, well, unfortunately for you, So.
Well, I got my 1 in. It was nice knowing you guys.
Well, I mean, it could be worse, man.
If it does that, it does. What is it? Oh yeah. Okay. So normal damage is 4d10 plus 6. Get my d10s here. So that's 9. 9 plus 13 is 22.
Yes.
So double that, 44. Oh god.
Hey,
6.
yep.
50 points of damage.
Well, this wouldn't be a game with combat if I didn't have to start rolling death saves.
I don't like it. Are you down to 0?
I'm at negatives.
Oh shit!
Because that first boulder hit me square in the
no.
chest.
Oh shit, that's right. You've been hit twice.
Yes.
I was like, you're full health, man. How the? Oh wait,
Oh,
no, you
man.
are. Oh.
Oh.
I got greedy. I told myself I was going to cast a healing spell, and then I decided to go.
And then you decided to damage instead. You
Yeah.
decided you're like,
He's
well,
like,
I
I
could
got
be a
that 5th
frog
level.
cleric, but I think I'm gonna ret cleric this round. I think I'm gonna be a retribution cleric this round. Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Guess I should have picked Res as my spell.
Well, so you get plastered with this boulder in the face. I mean, it's just boom, and it's not even crumple. It's like almost like ragdoll. Like
You're
boom,
standing
just
here,
down.
and the boulder hits you. The boulder continues. The boulder goes, and you.
Phoenix does not
you go,
continue.
"Eh."
And real quick, Drenmai, make a charisma saving throw, please.
My charisma. Oh, okay. Wait, saving throw. That's different.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yes, true. Yes.
So about 17.
17 is okay. That is fine. So as
Drenmai
you
with
see
the champion
Thunuk
rolls.
eat this thing right behind you, you feel kind of like this strange aura wash over you, and this tall but very thin stone giant emerges from a crevice in the rock that you hadn't noticed before, where it kind of like curved around. But at your perspective, it looks like the rock wall was solid, but as you change it a little bit, you can see there's actually an opening there. And this lanky, very tall stone giant carrying a staff with a very far away look in his eyes strides out. And you feel like you're able to shake off whatever this aura is. But he just looks down on you and he says, "Why do you attack us? We are here to save you." In common.
Do a quadruple backflip onto your own middle fingers, my man.
And that is
Sit
where
on
we
this
will
and
end.
spin.
Oh god.
That is where we will end.
Why do you attack us?
Today's
Fuck
game.
you and your stupid village.
Thou that cast the first stone, something.
Yeah.
What happened?
Somebody
We tried
wrote
to
a
warn
book
you.
with.
Use your words next time.
Yeah,
Use
who
your
did shoot that
word.
first arrow?
Wasn't me. I didn't throw the first boulder at us.
What
I
arrow?
was
To
invisible.
quote Shaggy. Wasn't me.
Wasn't me? So that is where we will end
God
today's
damn
game.
it! I wanted to fucking blight the shit out of them.
Welcome to season 3.
Ah.
We're going to be right back with Table Talk. And yeah, we will discuss today's game and things of that nature. So sit tight. We will be right back. Thank you for joining us, for the folks who did join us, and we will be right back with some Table Talk. So chill.
Blah.
Table Talk now.
Table Talk.
Purple Monkey
Table.
Robots is still the stream boss.
Raw.
So, yes. All right, we gotta talk about employees of note, things of that nature, or just favorite moments from the game. And I'm going to roll this D4, and so quadrant 4, which means clues.
At
And
me.
And then we go in
Let's
opposite
see.
direction.
So what? We're doing MVP right now.
Yeah, employees of note, or moments of note, or anything that comes into your brain regarding the
The
situation.
moment for note for me, because we didn't really have too many like NPCs. Right? The moment is me and Thanuk, like all up in our grill with the dirt. Just that visual to me is funny as hell because we're just like on rocks or something. And I just picture us like going back and forth, like, oh, I taste this arcana. And Thanuk's like, yeah, I taste this origin of this plant or something. And it just seems really funny to me that we're probably like all down in the dirt licking things.
It's like Psalm, but for, dirt.
And, and Hugo are just, like, what the fuck is wrong with our group?
I think they pretty much accepted the situation as it is.
I know, but it's just so that's probably got to be my moment. That was pretty fun for me. Is eating dirt together.
Eating dirt. Eating dirt together. That's the key part here. Eating dirt together.
It's together. It's not about the things. It's about the friendship dirt that you make along the way.
The friendship dirt.
The friendship dirt.
Right.
Okay.
Sure. Why not?
Sure.
Why not? Then going in anti-clockwise motion, we would then go to Eno.
In a similar vein, I do like how each one of us tried to separately, on our own, figure out pretty much. I mean, like, of course, you had, Dren and Thunuk eventually working together. But we all sort of just said, I wonder why this is like it is. I wonder. And then we all had our own way of doing it. And then at the end, we all came together and we pieced this puzzle together. So I feel like that was pretty fun.
It was
we
good.
were not very collective at the beginning. It was very much on your own venture. And then, oh yeah, there's people around me that can help. Let's collaborate this information.
Let's combine our efforts. Gideon.
It's a tough call. Everybody had really good reactions to the various stimuli.
Ooh, shiny.
Eno's tiny hut. That was cool. That was like, I have a force field that is also comfortably and climate control. The lightning bolt from Dren was pretty great. The scatter shot guiding bolt was pretty great, as were the consequences of the immediate aftermath. Really, there's just a lot to like here. Honestly, though, I think I am. It's got to be the scatter shot guiding bolt, the big guiding bolt spin.
Yeah, he turns into Hanzo.
Like, no, and being annihilated. That was good. I like that.
Was, yeah. I'm trying to get how much damage was done on that. I'm doing the math here. So 8, 9.
It was 20 something on that one drill.
Yeah, it was 20
things.
So anyway, yeah, it's a lot of damage.
17, 20 something, 40 something.
Somewhere in there, yeah. It was
definitely enjoying Thunuk as MVP. That was good.
Speaking of which, Mr. Martino.
Yeah. I feel like I enjoyed the quips between the giants. My part of my brain was going, you have a mental image as to what Hugon is doing, and it's hilarious. And even though he didn't say it, based upon all his playing of Hugon, I suspect Hugon is just standing back there going, either shaking his head or just like, let's see how horrible, let's see how mangled these people can get themselves.
Yeah, Hugon's in a weird spot right now. He can't be of any assistance because he can't get to them. And in getting to them, he's only probably going to get killed. And also, he might just make it worse is the problem. So he's like,
That is a thing that he does.
Yeah. it's kind of his method is to go in and not solve the problem peacefully. And I know they're already throwing rocks at us, but like his lack of being able to fly, cast, run very quickly at all in full plate mail or splinter or whatever mail he's in, is just there's a lot of things that he's just kind of like, wow, okay, I'm uniquely ill-equipped. I better stand back here, and just kind of silently be disappointed.
This is a bad tactical situation.
This is a bad situation that you all are in.
Dirt definitely made my list.
That was a good one.
And all things dirt adjacent. I like that we had a conversation actually about where to get the good dirt.
Yes.
Always go for the reputable supplier.
Important.
But it's weird because as a kid there was actually like conversations we had about where to get the good dirt. Like if you just wanted to dig a hole and you wanted to do things out, because you go out in the woods and you dug holes sometimes, and for whatever reason when I was 5 years old, 6 years old, like there was this is where the good dirt is. But maybe this was a experience unique to me growing up in South Jersey. It looks from the looks on everyone's face, it was. There were some licking rocks that happened there right around 6 o'clock. That definitely was fun there. I think. I think my favorite though was the contested grapple that was an utter failure on everyone's part.
That was good.
It was
because
such a weak fight.
It wasn't even like, oh, Eno tried to grab and he was like falling down and missed it, and like Dren just like, Heisman'd him out of the way or something. This was, it's like this
Come
sort of like,
on.
Don't touch me.
Yeah,
I'm gonna grab you. No, I'm not.
No.
Go.
I grab you. No.
But I'm telling you, if you do a YouTube search for slap martial arts, you're going to see one of the funniest freaking things. It's one of those things where people like made up their own martial arts system.
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic.
It is.
It's pretty fantastic.
Yeah. And I don't think, because there's one that goes around and it looks like everyone's messing up and doing badly. And I actually think it was part of an ad campaign for Mortal Kombat. And I think
that sounds like something.
I think it was part of like for when Mortal Kombat was like when they were doing like the big. It was always Mortal Monday. That was the big thing in the '90s when they were releasing Mortal Kombat on the consoles. And I think this was actually part of an ad campaign for them, because I don't know why anyone would post this on purpose. But the slap martial arts, I think that they think that they're legit, and it's great. It's amazing. But yeah, I definitely think that the absolute failed contested grapple was one of my favorite things. I'm looking forward to
That was really fun. I could not be more pleased that I was like 3. Okay.
Nobody used any charges today because you had the ability to give yourself advantage on some of these rolls, and nobody used, so maybe you're saving.
Oh, trust me.
I thought about it real hard.
It was coming.
But
it was coming. If we would have played like 5 more minutes, it was coming.
I did like though, as a very close second was that moment of everyone coming together where everyone just sort of like landed in this bleak landscape and kind of like, I need to do my own thing right now because this is a shocking thing to see, right? And I know we're playing a game that it's like, oh yeah, dragons and magic and all these things, but you entered into this blasted landscape and it was like, all right, now I'm just gonna do what I do. I gotta do what I know. And then eventually it was like, between all of you, each of you had enough of a piece of the puzzle where you were able to figure out, and even it came to a roll, but it's like, no, we have enough here that we can say, all right, based on all this, do we know what we need to know? And if the stories of Yannick Vore had not come up with it, would it have worked as well? If had enough dirt not been eaten, had enough rocks not been licked, had enough obviating not happened. There's any number of ways where, and we could have gone other directions, but I think that was a fun way to have this go. So it was
very fun.
Yeah, and it was good to play D&D again.
It was. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Since right before Christmas.
Yeah.
Since right the Sunday before Christmas. It has been.
Yeah.
The 20
like a month, and it makes me sad.
But now you don't have to be sad because now we have
Oh, we're
more
back.
D&D. We have more D&D ahead of us.
I missed my character.
Not us. She missed Dren.
I miss Dren. Fuck all you. No, just
Listen,
Fuck y'all.
honesty has its value.
Real talk.
Wow.
We'll talk about this
No.
later.
I
Off
like
screen.
my friends. Except that we only meet for Unplugged, and that makes me sad.
Yes. Well, Unplugged is less than 12 months away. So.
Don't say that.
Yeah.
Actually,
Oh, trust me, we're having a meeting
it's-
after this, so y'all better
It's
not go
less than-
anywhere. Just
It's
so
less
you
than
know.
10 months away, actually. Isn't it? No.
Yeah.
It's October.
It's
November.
11,
November
22, 20?
November 20th.
It's about 10
months?
10 months away.
It's less
Matt,
it is
I
less than
Remember,
10
it's
months
10
away.
months away. It's
It's in
10
the
months.
Yeah.
10 months minus 6 days away.
Oh, we also we have to, I don't know how this is going to happen. We have to have some kind of animation for the unnatural 20.
Oh,
And I feel like it's
terrible.
almost, if you remember if you remember the game Pressure Luck, and it was like the no whammy, no whammy, no whammy, and if you got the whammy, there's always like a little different animation of the whammies, that how they would come and steal all your money. And I just think it'd be fun to have all these different like unnatural 20s that could like crawl across the screen in some way.
God.
Oozing pustule Frankenstein one,
No.
some
Chaos.
horrifying mutation thing.
Chaos
No.
Beast
Bug.
20.
I mean, there's bugs. There's got to be the but it's got or like a D20 that hatches nothing but wasps come out of it. Like from all the different angles. Yeah. See, I'm saying unnatural 20s.
A 20 that I don't know how to animate this, but if you look at it too closely, it sucks you in because there's so many dimensions within.
Oh God.
It's infinitely
Non-Euclidean.
fractals 20.
Yeah.
Non-Euclidean.
It's bigger on the inside 20.
Someone that has their eye sockets replaced with D20s. Something. I don't know. Just
God, I guess
all
we're
the
going
different-
on a deep end here.
yeah. Listen, but I really like the idea of the unnatural because the dirty 20 is great, but I think the unnatural 20 it's a little bit more on brand. So,
Excuse me.
do we have any new business that we need to discuss?
New stuff.
No.
No, my brain's not there yet. There will
yeah.
be new stuff, but we're not there yet.
I actually took a break from doing late to the game. I'll be coming back to it Tuesday.
Oh, excellent. What
Cool.
is the game that you shall be playing? Don't know.
Don't know yet.
I don't know.
Surprise.
I'm trying. One of the reasons I took a break was because I want to try to get my laptop working with the HD60 here, so I can capture my. So I can use one computer as an emulator, and then capture it and use the other computer for the streaming.
Ah,
Cool.
good
So
times.
I don't. Yeah.
Well, maybe we need to put a poll out in the field or something because I don't know. There's so many games I want you to play, and I know there's games that you want to play, and that needs to come first. But there's so many there's just so many games I want you to play that are like old Nintendo.
Oh yeah, there's a ton of old games I love.
My nephew, so my nephew has a Switch, and I know you can get like all the old Nintendo games off of that. And so he's been playing, and he's been discovering how hard actual Nintendo games played the way that they were meant to be played can be, where you don't have any continues other than what the game gives you. There are no save points. It's not like it's like when you lose all your lives, and if you don't have any continues, either because there's none in the game or because you used them all, you start the game over.
Yeah.
And you add into it horribly unresponsive controls.
Here's a question. I'm not sure if this is something that was just weird, but did you guys ever see a Super Mario Brothers arcade machine?
Yes.
So that was
Absolutely.
okay. All right,
I was
never mind.
literally at an arcade at South that had one there.
not the Mario Brothers where they're in the sewer, but Super Mario.
Yeah,
Brothers,
Super
the
Mario
regular
Brothers,
Super
yeah.
Mario game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like insanely hard to
I
get
mean,
through the
like,
first level because the timer was clicking off so fast.
Yep.
20 goddamn years ago, but yeah.
Did you?
I had Mario Brothers on Atari 2600. Like,
Did you play Contra yet?
I've
Oh,
actually
God.
played Contra before.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh, okay.
What about Super Contra?
Don't believe so.
Super Contra is pretty mean.
What about Castlevania? I'm trying to
He
like.
did
finish my
Castlevania.
old
I did
favorites.
Castlevania. That's where my 50 continues
Yeah.
Rule
came
came
from.
Metroid.
What about Metal Gear? Like OG
Oh God,
Metal
the
Gear.
That
original
actually-
Metal Gear.
Oh
Gear.
no,
Dude, you're gonna waste like 30. You're gonna waste 30 continues on the first level.
It doesn't sound great.
It's hard.
It's
a stealth game. It's a stealth game on
Ninja
Nintendo.
Gaiden would be brutal. Oh
Ninja,
man,
Yeah.
Ninja Gaiden would be
That is-
fun.
That's a
I
hard
think I
one.
had the Nintendo Prima strategy guide for Ninja
Yeah.
Gaiden 2.
I'm pretty
I
sure I
have
did
the
too.
Genesis versions on my emulator, I think.
Completely different game. Ninja Gaiden
Yeah.
on Nintendo is a completely different game.
It is.
Hmm.
It's
Utterly different, but fantastic.
I made it to.
But yeah,
I made it to
love
one.
the
I
game.
made it to the last level on that. It was like a crowning achievement. I was like, oh my God! Then I died, and then you had to start over.
Oh, I'm dead.
Yeah.
Damn.
Trying to think of some of the others that are
Kid Icarus.
Well,
That's an old
Kid
one.
Icarus.
I'm like trying to visualize my
Krakow.
Ninja collection right now.
If you remember Krakow. Is that
I
the-
do
There
remember
was-
Krakow.
What's it called? God, I
Mike
can't.
Tyson. Or you have Punch Out. Mike Tyson's Punch Out. That's
Did that one.
Personal
that's right, you did
favorite
do
would
that,
be
yeah.
Bubble Bobble for me. If you never played Bubble Bobble, I love fucking Bubble
I'm
Bobble.
running through all the NES games that I used to own.
I spent a
Uh,
lot of money playing Bubble Bobble
I loved Bubble Bobble.
on a machine.
Double Dragon on Nintendo
Double
was.
I had that for the Game Boy.
OG Kirby. Like
I had that
OG
for the Game Boy.
Kirby,
Ancient
Kirby's
Kirby,
Adventures.
Well, if you ever get to the Super Nintendo, Kirby's Island is great because
Kirby's
just
Island was
fun.
so much fun.
it was a lot of fun.
RC Pro Am.
Yeah.
Like the bloop 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 bloop. Oh, I'll never. Those sounds will haunt me for life.
Excite Bike.
Oh, Excitebike was so much fun.
Excite Bike.
I had a
Oh, yeah.
top-down fighter pilot game.
1942.
No, it wasn't
1944.
Oh no. It was fuck. I could go downstairs and get it right now.
It was like
One of the
I wanna
first
say-
ones I had was Alien
It was
Syndrome.
like heli. What was it? Heli.
No, it
hold
wasn't a
on.
helicopter. It was a World War II fighter plane.
Yeah,
I know
19.
what you're talking
uh,
about.
yeah, 1944, and then you had 1945 Battle of Midway, the sequel.
No, that wasn't what it was. That wasn't mine, I should say. Those
Ah.
games exist, but
Mhm.
mine. I remember the art of the cartridge more than I do the actual title, which is what annoys me.
I'm trying to remember. I know.
Alien Syndrome, which was one of the ones that was like, so at the time, Nintendo was trying to make it so you had to have it go through them with the manufacturing, right? And that's what. But then you had certain manufacturers that were saying like, screw it, we're still going to make Nintendo games and sell them, and we're not going to sell them through Nintendo. We're going to, and that was like, and so Alien Syndrome was one of them. And these were a lot of the games that the cartridges didn't look the same as all the other ones.
Okay.
And they didn't, and because they basically they cracked open the chip, they figured out how everything worked, and they started making their own games. And Nintendo wasn't happy, but they also couldn't enforce it. So, and then Nintendo figured out, hey, it's actually good to have other people making games for us.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
trying to think of
Well,
this.
there's
Yeah.
lots of games.
Yeah.
We
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh,
That
I had
was
that one.
not-
Oh,
not-
I had that one.
Not the fighter,
Which
not
one?
not the scroll, not the one that was based on the arcade game, which was an excellent port, and not the fighting games. There was the very first one where you it was the platformer that was a little non-linear.
You turned
and-
into a little ball when you had to jump. It was very fun.
Yep, and if you died, you could actually go and rescue
Yeah.
the turtles. And
Was there a top-down aspect to this when you
Yes.
got out of the sewer?
yeah, you got
And
to
you had a
the top
car,
down.
and you would always get like wasted by whatever enemy was up there because you
And
just go, "Wah,"
Shredder
crush.
was really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I think a friend of mine had that on a Commodore or an Amiga.
Oh.
It was very fun.
I don't remember. It required a tape deck to play it.
Hmm. Well, at any rate, so
There's lots
anyway,
of
so
options.
lots of options. Late to the game, we'll be picking up again. We will still be running the Dark Inspiration counter. So I know that's certainly affecting anyone right now, but we thought it'd be fun that if at some point, even on Tuesday, if someone were able to hit one of the thresholds, it means we would start the next game with me having to
Oh,
expend Dark
God.
Inspiration. So a little tip of the hat to Idle Champions and C Team for that idea. But we will be back next week with a brand new episode of
Yay.
Team X. So everybody have an absolutely fantastic week, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
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 Hang on, where'd the thing go? Oh, God.
Where'd the
Push
thing
the button. Push the button.